Good evening. Good evening. Do we have a treat for you today? Hatter, welcome. Today we embark on a new campaign. A campaign of ancient unknowns, one might say. Visual is coming, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. It's people. It's actual people, look. Hello, people.
Hello.
No.
Hi. So, we have Yathina, we have Furious, we have some random, and we have characters in a room. So, let's begin, I think, with introduction, shall we? We'll do some quick introductions. We'll start with Yathina, and we'll work our way up.
Introducing characters, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, what am I saying? Yeah, I am Yathina. I'm on this channel a lot. I am playing Temerity. She's a tiefling monk, level 6. She is... yeah, she's tall, has a sort of purplish skin, long black hair, and yeah, she has been with the organization that we will talk about later for a while. She's also an athlete and is taking part in different competitions all over parts of the city. And she is, I will try to convey that she's not that smart and not that charismatic, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Okay. Rando. Push to talk.
I am not muted anymore.
There you go.
I am playing Breckec, a Srifneblin cleric. Born and raised in the Underdark, I've got a bit of wanderlust and headed for the surface, and on my way encountered Temerity and was brought into the fold in my search for knowledge to learn more about the wider world.
Indeed. And then we go to Furious.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Boris. You may see me in the Scales game, playing Vic. This time I'm playing Sarador, who's a tabaxi athlete, same as Yathina's character is, but mine's very impressive. He's slightly egotistical as well, but he's very good. He likes to specialise in kind of like Iron Man, kind of like competitions. He's got quite a lot of stamina and strength. Quite charismatic as well, and a paladin for one as my class. Not really much of a healer as such, and more of an aggressive, potentially offensive kind of paladin. But we'll see. We'll see how soft he gets, if at all.
We'll see. We find our adventurers in a very cellar-like room. They are being led to a meeting with their patron, we'll say, the leader of the organization, the Silent Partners, who they have done work for in the past and have, been contracted out by quite a few times. And they've been summoned by the leader of the Silent Partners, Genesis Pike, to gather and embark on a mission for her that could lead to great risk or great reward. Who knows? They're being led to this meeting by a very tall, sleek, slender, and well dressed, but also kind of confident looking half elf with striking red hair, who you know as Avery Moore. She goes by Avery, she doesn't really associate with her last name. She has her hair kind of braided to one side and pulled right back tight, and the rest of it flows down her body, kind of engulfing her slightly. And she has a kind of confidence to her walk that tells you she's in Genesis Pike's inner circle and likes to remind people of it. She leads you down the stairs and into this sort of entrance hall to the hideout for the Silent Partners, which looks almost like potentially a holding cell, maybe, for a prison or some such thing from long ago that's been retrofitted since then. This way, she says with a kind of authority to her voice, and continues to walk down the corridor.
Oh, you guys go first. I'm sure you've done this before. Plenty of times.
Quite happy to meet her finally.
Yes.
Okay. You continue down the corridor, and ahead of you, you see there's a sort of common room of sorts, sat in a chair, kind of hunched over as best he can, on the table, sort of writing things furiously on pieces of paper, is a goblin with huge glasses that sort of cover half his face, and like a tuft of hair on the top of his head that's pulled right back, but looks to be the equivalent of a comb over. Kind of scribbling away, doesn't even acknowledge you as you walk forwards. And as Avery walks in, she walks over, leans against a chair, and kind of points her head in the direction of a human lady, sat kind of semi-reclined in a chair, knee up, arm resting, just, fiddling with her fingernails, kind of half talking to a dwarf lady that's sat just pounding back ale, sort of semi-interested, but also seems to have an air of nervousness about her. Breckec, you recognise that there's definitely some kind of nervousness to her that you're seeing straight away the first time, as soon as you see her. She's sort of dressed casually, nothing too formal or exciting looking, but she seems to have sort of grey clay hair, coloured hair, that is kind of styled in a way that seems to give off the impression that it was very, very bedhead-like, but she's definitely put a good hour or so into her hair this morning. And she kind of looks up from her nails as you walk in, and Avery doesn't even need to really announce you. She just kind of comes and sits down at the table with her and nods in your direction. The lady stands up. Ah, yes. I'm glad you're here. It's time for us to really do some... We've got a big job, and you're the three that have stood out the most. And I think you're more than capable.
Got a very keen eye.
Indeed.
What kind of job?
For the longest time, the city has been divided into three. We've managed to infiltrate into the middle, into the outer city, but never been able to penetrate into the old city. We want that to change. The three of you have been chosen to lead an expedition in.
I mean, it definitely sounds dangerous.
Oh, there will be danger.
Have you ever met anyone who has been there?
The only known inhabitants of the old city are cult members, as you should know. But a resourceful party should be able to get the job done easily enough.
Yeah, no doubt we'll be able to get it done, that's for sure. Very capable, we are.
I'm sure. So I hear.
I mean, you're right, we do have a good track record, but that is a big mission.
But an exciting one as well, no?
What is the end goal here? Is it the expansion of power or knowledge for knowledge's sake? I can operate under either.
For an organization as old as the cult of Semefi, they must have great riches and great artifacts which we would like to procure, either through legitimate means or not. That's up to you. Your mission is to find your way into the old city, procure some of these artifacts, relieve them of their wealth, and maybe see what's going on in the pyramid.
Do you have a lead on an easy access? Well, not easy, I guess, but
Well,
easier. Play again.
once a week, there is a small expedition of a few cult members that leave the city, and just so happens to be tonight. We would like you to intercept. What you do from there is not for me to say. You have free reign over your methods.
Okay.
All we claim is 60% of the revenue that comes from it.
Okay, so there's a group of cultists leaving the inner, and we can take them out and replace them and go back in, you think?
That's an option, if you see fit. They leave the city once a week, usually from what we gathered from our spies, they generally will go out with crates and chests. We've never been able to get into these crates and chests ourselves, but we can assume. And then the next day they return. And
By which gate do they leave the inner, and by which they leave the city entirely with these crates, or they?
There's only one gate from the old city into the outer city, and then that sort of has 4 gates: north, south, east, and west, which then leads to 8 gates from the outer ring, which is where you are now. So they sort of come out of the one gate from the old city, head east, which is the way that the essentially the old city gate comes out east, then they just keep heading eastwardly out of the city. It's kind of like a straight line. Yes, we would like you to intercept. We would like you to find your way back in. If you wish to intercept them today, very well. If it's to wait till tomorrow when they return, very well. We aren't fussy about your methods, so long as we're not maybe implied to be involved. Things could get messy for us if the cult of Semefi come after us.
And do the cults, they have their own guards on these inner gates, or is it the city itself that guards them?
The gate, the city, the inner city, the old city, is a mystery to all. They don't have guards on the walls, from what we can tell, from when the few who have been able to get in and return. They don't have guards on the inside of the gates either. Generally, they don't stop people from entering because they don't expect them to leave.
Oh, so many people have tried and just not returned.
We have sent many in ourselves. We've tried different ways. We've tried through the sewers. Never recommended. There are things down there that I wouldn't dream of putting people against. We've tried just walking in. That worked. Until we received... until the head of the infiltrator was found on a pike in the middle of the city. That was nasty. People have tried climbing in. We've tried all sorts, but we're willing to risk it again. This time we have a goal. We just wish to relieve them of some of their worldly goods in the name of enlightened self-interest.
Okay. And the pay we're getting for this is just 40% of whatever we find, or are you paying us on top?
Well, you'll receive your wage, of course. Your usual your usual organizational wage. 40% of the wealth that you procure is more than reasonable. If, as we believe, there is a lot in there, then you may never need to work again.
Back to this expedition. What is the nature, the size? Is this, you said multiple crates. Are there beasts of burden and carts? Is it hand carried by a large group?
There's usually only 4. We don't know what they arrange themselves as. But usually there's 4 members with a donkey and a carriage. We believe that they're either exporting something out of the city or they're moving items and wealth elsewhere. Either is likely. We're not sure.
You've never tailed them to their destination before?
They're very sneaky. We always lose them on the road. They head out towards the swamp, towards the eastern sea. But we can never track them.
Okay, so...
Believe me, we have tried. But never managed to anything other than losing them in the woods.
Okay.
So they're coming in the same place that they go out of?
Yes. Every day. Well, every week. Once a week.
Empty-handed?
From what we can ascertain, they return with their donkey and carriage, but no crates or chests or barrels. So it's not like they're importing food into the old city. They must have some means of surviving, as no food is imported from inside the city into the old city. It is self-sufficient in its own little bubble.
How long would you say they're gone before they return? Do we know within our network that?
It's almost exactly a day.
So to be clear, what they are bringing out is not the main target that you wish us to ascertain, just a possibility of entrance.
If you wish to look and see if you can find something, then by all means. I don't think it's of priority. If they're not importing other things into the city, then perhaps they are moving their wealth elsewhere, but where would they move it to if the people that they're taking it, or the people that are taking it, return also? It doesn't make sense. We just need some clarity. Maybe if you try and follow them, that's an option, but...
Well, my thought was, if the target is the inner city, the old city, maybe approaching them by whatever means when they're on their way out, when their guard may be up, is not the best option, and maybe we wait, and on their return to the city, when they probably feel some comfort that they're not a target to standard bandits, that may be the time.
I guess so, but what if we manage to find where they're taking them? The stuff is for the future. It might be if they've done this once a week for however long, it could be a hoard of stuff.
Depends what the stuff is.
Oh yeah, that too.
If they're smuggling out dead bodies, then that's not very valuable to us.
We also are struggling to understand. There is confusion. Our trackers lose them. We don't wish to attack them in the street in case they bring their wrath down upon us. We can hold our own, but we don't know what they bring to the table.
Can I clarify something about the table? You said they have sent people into the old city and no one has made it out, but definitely like no one has ever made it into the inner city as far as we know.
You're getting yourself confused. So the old city is the inner city.
Oh, okay.
There's been one or two people that have managed to escape.
Okay.
But only because they got in and immediately just left. Whether they got ran off or there's something in there that forces them out, that wasn't very clear. But there's something in there that stops them.
So geographically, there's 2 layers, 3 if you count the pyramid, the outer ring, and then the old city / the inner city.
So it's kind of like this, right? Like that's the old city,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got the outer city, and then you've got the outside ring.
Okay, what's the relationship between the outside ring and the outer city?
So the outer ring and the outer city are the outer ring is where the peasants and normies live.
Yeah.
The outer city is where the nobility, guild leaders, and like rich traders stay and live. It's in terms of like layering, you've got the the outer ring is huge. It's like hundreds of square miles, but it's very built up because it's so densely populated. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people living in the outer city, the outer ring, and buildings are stacked upon each other. It's kind of like the stacks from Ready Player One, where there's just building upon building upon building, kind of haphazardly. The outer city, however, is less densely populated. There's probably about 2/3 of the surface, like of the area of the outer ring, but it's so sparsely populated that people have mansions and acres of land around them, and that's kind of how it goes. And then there's shopping districts where you may have 2 or 3 story buildings, but they're all one building, all owned by the same person. It's rich and it's exclusive. And then in the old city, which is the inner circle, you have sort of a 900-foot tall pyramid, and then a few buildings built around it, and then the wall.
Okay.
It's basically built. The pyramid is the centerpiece of the city, of the inner city, and that's kind of what it's there for.
All open though, isn't it? All open top. It's not sealed in, is it?
No.
Except for the
Big
pyramid.
walls. Yeah, the pyramid. Yeah.
There's no roofing on any of it. It's not undercover. It is open plan. But
Okay.
there is a bloody great pyramid in the middle of the sort of looming over everything.
Yeah. Last question. How would having worked for the silent partners for a while, how is I say relationship, that's not the word that I mean, but how's our knowledge of getting into the outer city? Would we be able to get into to complete jobs, to do robberies, some sort of stuff like that? Or is it also completely sealed off from everyone, and if we go in there, we're not coming out?
No, it's easier to access it. The guard presence is higher, and you will stand out like a sore thumb if you're just walking through the streets. But the silent partners tend to have their fingers in a lot of pies, and you can kind of talk your way out of situations. The outer ring, you've got essentially free reign over. You could go into any shop, any blacksmith, any bakery, and just flash a silent partner badge and get what you like. But they also have their own independent shops and outlets, just for ease of use. In the outer city, you would have more of a problem with that. They don't exactly have access to these things, but they're known and they're feared, and they kind of they've paid off a lot of people. So you're not going to get immediately kicked out.
Okay. So we don't know what they're shipping. We don't know where they're going. We only know there's 4 people leaving at a specific time and coming back at a specific time once per week.
Yes.
Okay.
We've started with worse. We've started with less.
So we need to come up with an agreement of how we're going to handle this. Do we want to try to kill them and take their costumes for the way back, and just walk in and hope that we just blend in, or do we just ignore them completely and just sneaking?
If we kill them, there's, you said 4 of them, and we are, and she looks around, 1, 2, 3, so that doesn't add up.
I mean, it's fine. Surely it will be fine. There's cultists.
Oh, that's the wrong button. Sorry.
I'm not opposed to killing them. I'm just saying we will immediately be discovered if we come back with less people than they went out of.
Right. True. I mean, they said there's no guards on the inside or whatever anyway. So I think it's just I mean, is it quite distinct outfit they have? Is it?
They always wear these kind of. Honestly, they could be so much more original. They always wear this sort of azure-coloured robe.
What color?
Azure. Quick, to Google, everyone.
Seriously.
Blue.
It's blue. And while it doesn't always cover their face, they all have this robe, and they all seem to be missing an ear. All the ones we've seen anyway. It's almost like an initiation ritual.
I don't fancy doing that just for a job.
No.
So they're shipping crates of ears and burying them in the swamp, I think is the direct answer. Mystery solved.
It's possible.
Are they a mixture of all different types of backgrounds and races as well?
Predominantly human, but there are also others. Like they don't seem to be overly prejudiced on who they recruit.
But for example, if 3 of us were to return, none of us being human, that would be a bit extra suspicious.
Well, if
potentially.
they keep track of who they sent, and they know, for example, that they sent out 3 humans and a dwarf, then 3 of you returning would be a bit of a shock to them, yes. But we do have good old Spip over there.
Spip.
He could offer alternatives. And she sort of gestures over to the goblin, who's been furiously writing down on paper the entire time. He hasn't even acknowledged any of you there. And upon hearing his name from Genesis, he kind of sort of pokes his head up, and as he looks up, his head goes too far back, and so his eyes are looking down, and they're kind of looking still through the glasses, and they just seem to be like distorted. So he's got really weird shaped eyes, but they're also really big, even for a goblin. Like they're just and he's kind of still looking down his pointed crooked nose, and he kind of looks at the 3 of you, like finally seeing you and realizing you're there, and there's a pause. It's just what? Sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying. Hello, I'm Spip.
Breck,
Spip.
nice to meet you.
Breck. Yes. Nice. Yes.
Apparently you've got some other maybe alternative ways that can help us with the inner city.
Well, yes, I am the forger. I forge, and I can make you papers. And he kind of gestures down to his like table of paper, and they're all just scribbled, it looks like they should be scribbled from how much he just sort of his pen just goes, but it's very neat handwriting, and all of it's in different handwriting. Every piece of paper is written out differently, and different handwriting, different phrases, different wording, and each with a signature, and you can kind of tell that he's been focusing so hard on just writing out letters, maybe. And what do you need? I can get you papers into anywhere. Genesis sort of says, well, potentially we could try and get you in through some kind of authority? We have been brainstorming.
Would the cult listen to any authority?
Well, technically they are subject to everything that everyone else is. Technically, it's a long shot, I'll admit.
We could always fall back on such a plan if we first, say, attempt to follow the cart on its way out. If we lose them in the swamp, we wait somewhere advantageous to maybe approach on the return when their guard is down, and maybe ascertain the level of threat or any other knowledge gain we can get from them. I assume they'll be tight-lipped, as cultists often are, but at most we lose a day. You said that they are on schedule to probably leave today, and around a day for them to leave and return.
Yes, that's generally how long it takes them. It's very regimented.
Why?
Sorry, go on.
Why I'm opposed to the killing them plan is such things not only can be messy, but cause a delay, and as you say, they're regimented. Such a delay would probably raise further scrutiny beyond the fact that we are not the ones who left. What were your thoughts, Temerity?
I just wanted to ask whether we know, or whether
Genesis
knows about any cultists that, apart from this trip that they take weekly, mingles outside the old city. Do they sometimes come into the outer ring for, special needs, special substances that they might need?
No. None of the cultists ever leave except for this one time a week. This is why we're so perplexed. Where do they go? Where do they get their food? Where do they get their supplies? Where do they get their clothes? Where do they get everything? They just seem to have an endless supply of stuff.
How do they get more members?
Honestly, I wish I knew. They're an old organization, almost as old as the city itself. But
in my earlier life wandering, I saw many things similar to the pyramid at the center of this city, and there were many old things beyond still my understanding, as much as it kills me. So I think your wisdom is true. We must find what's going on in there, but it seems our immediate puzzle is more comfortable access to the outer city rather than focusing on the old city to begin with.
there's possible routes into the old city through the outer city. Honestly, this whole job is so freeform because we don't know. We want what's in there, we just don't know how to get it. And you three are our means of procuring.
As you say, they must receive food, supplies, members through some means, which means there's a door somewhere, whether it's something direct that we just haven't found, or more indirect that we may be able to exploit. I think, and I look around at Temerity and Serdar, I think we have what we need to leave and discuss this amongst ourselves and not waste more of their time.
If that's what you think, then by all means. We won't keep you. The sooner you get this job done, the sooner we can all benefit. But just be cautious.
I think it makes most sense to at least but follow this
Follow the cart.
card, see what they're up to, and whether that is our easiest way in, and if not, we can explore.
I agree. I mean, I'm quite confused how they managed to lose you when they've got a donkey and cart.
Honestly, same. It doesn't make sense to me. I've certainly voiced my displeasure at the constant incompetence of my rangers as they continue to return to me telling me they can't do what they say they're going to do.
How often have you tried?
3 times. They either know they're being followed and take avoiding action, or they just disappear.
Okay, and they always leave from the same east gate, yes?
Eastern Gate, yes. Always the same.
So maybe rather than, like, if we're going to follow them, rather than, like, follow them all the way through the city, why don't we just wait outside the whole city, like off the road a bit, and then we can just follow them through the brush.
I agree.
Otherwise, they might have less chances to spot us, and we'll be more hidden, hopefully, in the trees and bushes. I'm guessing it's quite a lot of foliage and stuff that we can hide behind outside the city. It's going to a swamp, isn't it, as well?
So, the city is based in a kind of savannah. A savannah-esque type place. Around it, there's grassland, but very little else. For probably about 10 miles around the city, there's nothing but grass, except for when you head. So I've got my compass wrong. East is wrong. They head west.
Okay.
Sorry, west. When they head west towards the swamp, it's sort of, even the grass disappears and it's almost desert-like in texture, appearance, just general like surrounding.
Is there a lot of other traffic from the city that heads west? I don't see why many would wander to the swamps. Is it possible we could track old cart tracks and, yes, get ahead of them and hide in the swamp?
There is no road heading east. They all head north, south, or east. There's no road that heads west. There's no road that heads west. They all head east, north, or south. So our frustration stems from there should be tracks for us to follow. But as soon as they hit the swamp, they just disappear.
How long is that after they leave the city?
It's about a 6-hour travel.
But surely in the desert, a cart, a donkey, leaves tracks. What's the weather been like recently? say since last week?
Dry with drizzles, basically. It's not. It's a very it's a strange climate. It's always sort of tropical in its temperature, humidity, and weather, but juxtaposed by the fact that there's no real jungle. There are forests within, within 10 miles, and there's a mountain range, and it's kind of surrounded by inland seas, essentially, but the atmosphere and climate is always very tropical, so it's always quite muggy and but there's quite regular rain. Like, it's fairly fertile for land and farming and stuff.
Has anyone ever touched any of the cultists who came out?
We haven't engaged them yet. We, partly due to not really understanding what and who they are, whether they're capable, whether they're competent, whether they can fight. They might outmatch us. They might be easily dealt with. We don't know what kind of combat training they have, whether they're just people.
I just wonder if it could be a decoy of some sort.
Potentially. I'm ashamed to say this, but our forays into digging into this have been by no means exhaustive. We have our plan. We know what we want. We've wasted enough time dilly-dally. That by no means is there a time limit on this job. If it takes you a year, it takes you a year, but as long as there is direct action being taken, then we have no problems. We just cannot keep wasting time watching them, cautiously sidestepping them at every turn. If you wish to go and engage them tonight, then feel free. If you wish to follow them and see if you can track them through the swamp, feel free. The three of you don't look like trackers, however, but I've been surprised before.
We don't have to track them. We could just go ahead of them.
I was thinking the same thing. Get to the swamp in cover before them. They're going to go the same direction, aren't they?
The 3 times we've followed them, they have gone in more or less the same direction.
And we will see them from a long way away if they're going across the savannah. We just stay in the...
That is one advantage. You can keep your distance while still keeping vision and visual. This is simply...
I think that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, we get out now. It's a bit of a hike to get to the swamp anyway. And we just wait there for them and keep our eyes, and if anyone's heads in that direction, we hide and follow them through the swamp after that.
It's an ambush.
And if we don't see them, we know we missed them.
Yes.
We can catch them on the return before they get to the city gates.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know what we're going to achieve if we just follow them back in. I don't understand what we're going to achieve from seeing them anyway, other than maybe finding another location outside the city.
Find out what's in the crates.
Well, I'm kind of tempted just to go in.
If direct action is what you wish, then by all means assault them in the city. Just don't bring us into it.
I was about to say they could always fall back on you. It's not
If you get caught, you know not to mention us. If you do attack them, do not wear your badge of membership. The usual. It's the usual affair.
Okay. Well, are we in agreement to do this, Breckec? Do you want to go to the swamp as well? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's our best shot at gathering knowledge without closing any doors on future opportunity.
You guys are right about them maybe not trying to kill them part.
Another angle I considered, though, with my limited knowledge of the cult, I forget if it was Temerity who brought up how do they get new recruits?
Mhm.
How do they get new members? Would it be an option to approach as if, hey, we're looking for a cult to join and we heard yours is the best? Maybe that's how we end up with a head on a pike, but it's something to consider in the future if this swamp endeavor does not go our way.
Well, maybe just going into the city could be a way of actually just joining. I mean, there was a head in the pike. Obviously, some people have turned up dead, but I'm sure some just have never turned up again. Maybe
this is true.
They have been converted across. I don't really want to cut my ear off, though.
It's true that the members who didn't return don't necessarily mean they're dead. It could be that they've converted into members of the cult themselves. I don't see that as an outrageous idea. I think it's a bit disingenuous to this organization itself, but stranger things have happened. Like I said, we're not ruling anything out, but all I'm going to say on this, I will leave it up to you for the most part. But all I will say is commit fully to whatever you choose and don't hold back. We don't have any idea what these people are capable of. They might be dangerous, they might be easily killable, they might just be people indoctrinated into a cult. I agree with not killing them, though. Not killing them is a good idea. That's how you get information.
We could interrogate them and then kill them.
That also works, I suppose, yes.
I think if we interrogate them, we probably would have to kill them, to be fair.
Not all of them.
You can kill a few. The most devout of cultists, or those who have been brought to follow by more supernatural means, may not break under threat of death anyway, so there's a chance that with killing them, we lose that opportunity, but there's a chance that opportunity was never there to begin with.
Maybe.
You make a valid point. They may... Again, there's so many different ways that this could be. They might not want... They might be trained to not crack under pressure. Or they might have nice loose tongues that tell you everything you need to know. It would be something you'd only find out if you tried.
How much time do we have until they leave?
It's currently the middle of the day, so you've still got the majority of the afternoon. So, you know, you've still got plenty of time to plan and plot and do anything you need to. You could, like, if you wanted to, for example, if you wanted to ambush them in the city. You could, you know the route that they take. You could set up in a easily ambushed spot. If you wanted to go and get a head start and head to the swamp now, you could get there before they even leave, and that gives you plenty of time to set up an ambush, or set traps, or maybe scout the area out yourself. And there are options.
I'm still in favor of leaving as soon as possible and scouting out the area just to see whether we can gather any more information about how they vanished suddenly and how they managed to elude anyone else who has followed them before. So
I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, if we go now, it's a little bit of a journey to get there, so
yeah.
it makes sense that we would be there by nightfall.
They do tend to leave sort of early evening, and you could conceivably get to the swamp before they even leave the city, like I said. So, if that's what you want to do, then that's perfectly possible. That's what I'm trying to say.
You could potentially camp up and just watch them from just inside the swamp.
Yeah.
Or watch out and then get a good rest, and then they probably arrive around morning time.
Well, they would arrive sort of middle of the night. It's not exactly ideal timing for, anything, but it gives you time to at least prepare yourself.
Okay.
Okay. They, as far as you know, Genesis, they do bring the cart and the donkey out from the inner city. They don't pick it up in the outer city.
Yes. It is in the inner city with them. They bring it out as soon as from when they leave, and it returns with them when they return.
Okay.
Looks like we've got some walking to do.
You do. I would recommend before you leave speaking to Habor. He has returned from his travels, and I think he has some goodies that you might maybe be interested in.
Is that Habor?
Habor.
Where's Habor?
He is, typically for him, he is keeping himself to himself. I think he's in the common room on the right. She kind of gestures out to the corridor and in a sort of general direction. Avery sort of says, don't worry, I'll show you where. And she sort of starts walking off, and you just hear her open a door and shout inside. She says, Habor! Habor!
I give some sort of fake bow to Genesis and then I follow.
Yeah, that bother.
Avery kind of sits down in the corner and starts messing around with some tiles that are on a table, and a door opens in the far corner of the room, and there we go, updated, and a tiefling fellow steps out. He's sort of like a yellowy green tiefling. Sort of holds himself very, very well. Almost definitely has some kind of courtly training. Sort of shoulders back, his back is completely straight. His horns seem to be, and his hairstyle seems to include his horns, like they seem to mesh and mold together quite nicely. And he looks out at the three of you. What can I do for you?
Apparently, you have some goodies for us before we go off on our mission tonight.
Yeah. Yes, I acquired some things. Not as much as I was hoping for, but still useful potentially. And he kind of he heads back into his room and pulls out a bag and just kind of throws it on the table. And hopefully I've set it up so that you can see and move things. Please tell me it worked.
I can't click anything.
God damn it. That one?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot to press a button. There's not much in there, but
I'm sure. I'm confused. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Double click it.
Yeah.
There's not much in there, but the three of you, I'm sure, can make use of them. Expensive items.
Very useful. Situational, some of them, but
I feel like the situation could be called upon at any time. If Genesis says you can have them, then you can have them. Just make sure you don't lose them.
Yeah. I mean, who wants this? Who wants what? Does anyone want anything specific out of this?
So can you see what they all do?
Yeah, I need to. I'm reading currently.
Okay.
I ask, what's in this flask? The small clear one. They're both clear.
There should only be one flask in there. But make me yeah, okay. Make me an intelligence check, please. Oh, by the way, first roll of the campaign. Like an hour in.
Oh no! That sets the course of the campaign.
Oh, good.
You look over the vial, and within it, it's just clear. It looks like water. With, I don't know, maybe icing sugar, perhaps. You can't tell. Habor kind of looks at you, shaking the flask in front of your face. My sources tell me that their potion will allow you to fly for a certain time.
Fly, you say?
Fly. I'm not sure of the mechanics or logistics of such things, but alas, I am no alchemist. I am a mere procurer of goods.
I want to grab the belt and just not put it on me, but you know how you'd fold the back up and put it in front of my waist and look at everyone. Look, this is quite good on me, don't you think?
I feel like you gained weight.
Oof.
Muscle, maybe muscle mass.
Oh,
When was the last time you've been running?
I run all the time. I run every morning.
the other potion, I forgot. I thought I'd had 2 belts, not 2 potions. That's sorry.
I was asking about the flying one though.
The other potion is literally also a clear liquid, but this time with just like a fingernail-looking thing floating away in there. It's pretty gross.
Just grab it. I just grab it.
Okay. That one is similar in theme to the belt, but as you say, situational. But I'm sure you'll find plenty of situations to make use of it. If that's all, what's your weapon situation?
I'm pretty good. I play my great axe.
Just my fists, baby, and a spear, but the spear's the secondary.
I see. What about you, Gnome?
I have my trusty mace, though I don't rely on it that much.
I see. Well, there is a supply of weapons if you wish to invest in or improve what you currently have, but if you're happy with what you have, then feel free to keep it. We do have a small armory. He kind of, as he says that, he like rubs the back of his neck with a element of like kind of self-imposed pride. I've been pretty much everywhere. Found lots of things. You're welcome. If that's all. And he just turns and like heads back into his room and closes the door behind him. Leaves the sack that had the 3 items in it on the table. And Avery's sort of like, yeah, well, that's him. Pretty typical for him. Do you need anything else? I can show you the armory if you like. There's...
I think probably good for weapons, aren't we?
I don't need a weapon. I'm good with my weapons. And she holds up her hands again.
Sure.
I mean, any like healing potions, maybe? Or,
We could get you a supply of healing potions. Come with me. And she kind of steps back out into the corridor and walks off. Doesn't even like wait for you to follow. And she, like by the time you come out into the corridor, she's gone.
I'd take this belt. I'm just gonna nab the belt.
I can't pick anything up.
God,
Yeah.
Damn it.
So
I'll get this. I'm going to keep trying this until I get it right.
I mean, I'm happy to take the belt. It looks pretty good on me, but if you really, really want it, I'm sure I can.
I don't want it.
I prefer my belt. I don't need to change clothing.
Okay, huzzah.
You know what? I think you can have this potion as well. I feel like you might need it.
Me?
Yeah.
What kind of potion is it?
I don't know. It has a fingernail in it. I don't want to drink it.
It's okay. You've only got your fist to work with. I think I'll be fine.
No.
So-
You should take it. It can't. I don't think it can do anything for me.
Given the... Okay, I've just given you the things. Because evidently my expertise has not expanded to learning how to do the loot sheets yet.
Nearly there.
Nearly there. So yeah, as you step out into the corridor, Breckec, Avery's gone. You can't see her. She definitely didn't go into the room across from you. She turned left out onto the corridor.
I mean, I'll approach the door straight down the hall and knock.
All right. No answer.
Well, I mean, my curiosity for the better. Is the door unlocked?
Try the handle, and it swings open. There you go. You walk into a bathroom. Just a bathroom. Like, there's sort of makeshift, I would say showers, but they're just like buckets with water and drains, and then toilets.
Which are also buckets with drains.
Essentially, yeah.
Are we sure we're equipped for this mission if our organization's idea of an armory is a few buckets?
Well,
I guess I will leave the bathroom.
Okay.
Mission accomplished.
You found what you were looking for.
I feel like we should know where the armory is.
You haven't been here before.
Oh, okay.
So-
you've any interaction with the silent partners you've had before has always been through either contacts outside of the place or through communications directly to you that have sent you on missions.
Okay.
This is the first time you've been summoned to the hideout to actually receive a mission.
Okay.
So you haven't actually been here before, but you can see Spip just sort of scribbling back away on his pieces of paper, and the dwarf lady in the corner is now talking back to Genesis, and you can kind of hear like the slightly disinterested mumblings of Genesis in reply. And then after a minute or so, Avery pops her head back out. Okay, so well, we definitely have healing potions. And she holds out. Oh, expand, please. Oh, it's not going to tell me how many I did. Oh. She holds out 5 sort of thin, small vials, probably only like 2 inches tall, and very sort of very thin. But the sort of reddy orangey fluid inside is very viscous and almost lumpy. And she hands them over, and they're kind of in a little holder, like a vial holder. And then she pulls out a slightly bigger vial, maybe 4 or 5 inches tall, same thickness. The reddy orange fluid in there seems a bit lighter, a bit thinner. Sort of shakes more as she swishes it about. That one she has only got 2 of though, which she just sort of hands to you, and then she kind of pulls out a big round vial, sort of palm-sized, and she hands another 5 of those, and this one is very thin fluid inside that's almost watery in texture. I'll move them over to Temerity,
Mm-hmm.
because you're closest.
I think they'll need them more. Yes.
And then you can do with them as you please. So that's all we have. That's all I can find. I can't remember what way round they work, but there you go. Have them. Don't die. A lot's
How
invested
many?
in you.
How many of the smallest ones were there?
5.
Yeah. 2 big ones, 5 small ones, 5 middle ones.
No.
No?
5 small, 2 middle, 1 large.
5 small, 2 middle, 5 large.
Oh, okay.
525.
I just, for a moment, I hold them all in my arms and just stare at the amount of potions that I have. Okay, I'll just keep them for now. I will give them to you whenever you go down.
I have a bag of holding actually, if you want me to help you out there.
Sure, and I give them all to Rando, and the DM can move them over from my character sheet to the other.
Of course I can. Okay.
Into the bag.
Yep. Boop. Oh, it's the wrong place. Shit. Oh, I know what I was going to do. It's all good.
Do you not want to keep any on you at the moment, though, Temerity? I mean,
Nah, you can hold them.
Okay. So she kind of ushers you back into the common room. And says, "In you go. In you go. Go." And Genesis, as you come back in, all set? Do you have everything you need?
yeah, I think we're good, aren't we?
Rando has a lot of potions to keep him alive, so I think we're fine.
Very well. A lot's been invested in the three of you. We would prefer it if you lived.
So agree.
We die. Is there some sort of compensation?
No. No. Just don't die. Please. For your own good more than anything else. Okay, so what's the plan? Are you going to the swamp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
I
well.
think we're going straight there now.
Okay. Well, we will draw you a crude map of where to go. It's pretty much directly west, but you know, it's easy to get lost in the rolling savannah. And before she's even finished speaking, Spip just sort of hands over a piece of paper, starts wiggling in front of in front of Breckec's face. It's just like, here, take this, and it's literally just like an almost perfectly drawn Moralish, and an almost perfectly straight line, and then just a few trees, and underneath it's just written swamp. That'll help you. What? Yes. Off you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just gonna go.
Okay. As you all make your way out, there's no way up. This isn't a level map.
Okay.
Sorry. I saw you all going to the top of the stairs waiting. Okay. So you all make your way out of the city, or out towards the city, and then on the sort of western road out to the western gate. Is there any stops you want to make, or do you want to just head straight out?
I would, if we know where to get it quickly, I would like to pick up 3 very generic cloaks. Just, in a very generic sort of maybe brownish color, like savannah or something, just so if they are looking out for us, something ahead of them, that we blend in a little bit quicker and have a little bit more time to react to something.
Okay. It's 7 silver, but yeah, you pass multiple shops along the way that you could do that from, so it's not a problem.
7 silver per cloak, or for all 3 of them?
In total.
Okay. I pay for all of them. Oh shit.
You can afford that. I'm fine to pay for mine.
Yes, I have a lot of gold.
Okay.
As we're traveling, not loudly, but not overly concealed, I'll be talking about, I guess, reliving some of my glory days. Not that I'm old enough to have true glory days yet, but this reminds me of one time when I was hiding out in the outskirts of a dwarven city, and I noticed a lot of coming and going, and didn't really understand what they were doing, and I guess I have the ability to, once I've seen something, I can track it if it's within reasonable distance of myself. So if we get eyes on the cart, I could potentially locate that cart from within a distance and at least tell what direction it is, where it's moving. Even if we lose visual sight, I can sense its location. As for knowledge, if we have to kill them, one of the tools in my belt, as I've gathered information, has been the ability to coax some amount of information from someone post-life. So death is not the end of our interrogation options, actually. Just to put some options on the table.
Do they need if will they agree to answer the questions?
Your mileage may vary. I've had mixed results, but it's more than nothing.
Yeah, sounds good. In that sense, could we go to the head on the spike potentially and ask the spike any questions, or would that not really work?
That was too long ago to really even be there anymore, unfortunately.
Okay.
That was like one of the earlier attempts.
Yeah,
But
I guess we could probably dig around and try to find where they buried it, I guess.
if my understanding of the spell worked, in theory, yes.
Yeah, I don't think there is a yeah, the only time-based limitation is if someone else has done that within the last 10 days, it'll just fail. So.
Right. This thing will get more answers out of a dead person who got killed from there then. But who knows? I don't know how your magics work.
We can always try and find other dead people.
So you're having this conversation on the way out of the city, right? Like on the way through.
I guess I don't know how deep we are within. How deep we were within the hideout. I was imagining this just being like as we were leaving the.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Leaving the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's not like the hideout itself. You were led to a fairly tall building, kind of square stone building. It's one of the few fully stone buildings in this area of the outer ring, where it's kind of it's in a poorer part of the city, but basically every shop, every establishment, every market cart, any proprietor of anything is under the general employ of the Silent Partners. So it's kind of like just an underground city at this point. So everyone knows that that's probably where the hideout is, but no one really bothers to break in and find out. But as you kind of travel through the city, you collect your cloaks from a reputable sort of clothier. It's not a word, I made it up. Taylor. Thanks. Obviously. And then you head out of the west gate.
Actually, just before we get to the west gate, I assume there's some guards there, but before we go out, I assume there's some sort of area for when caravans are about to leave or anything where they might gather. I'll turn to the group and just say, there is one other thing I could do just to sense our chances in this approach. It'll only take me, less than a quarter of an hour. If you want, I can feel out and do this, and I'm planning to ritually cast augury is the and weigh fortune of whether our approach to get ahead of them in the desert is really a good plan.
Okay.
But do you think we have the time? I know we're urgent to get going, but
I don't understand your magic nonsense. You do, yeah.
While there is a certain time element, you're still sort of 6 or 7 hours ahead of the cultists leaving the city, even leaving the city. So if you wanted to stop in a staging area and just kind of take 10 minutes to cast a spell, then you're not going to lose time necessarily, or you're not going to kind of lose so much time that you are negatively affected, especially if this spell sort of can lead you on a direction.
Okay, and Yeah, so within Foundry, I don't know how to do a ritual cast.
I think just
There
click,
is a just uncheck the consume spell slot.
I think if you just click cast the spell, you might be able to do it that way.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't know either, honestly. We'll learn together.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Oh, it calls out specific tokens of at least 25 gold points. So maybe I won't do that.
Do you have a do you have a holy symbol?
I do have a holy symbol,
Then you don't need material components.
even though it calls out a specific cost.
I mean, you have 2 platinum, 15 gold, 147 silver, and 1100 copper.
Okay, yeah.
So that immediately adds up to 35 gold. So you could still cast it.
Okay, yeah. That sounds good. So I will do that.
Yeah, so mark off your 2 platinum and 5 gold, and then you can cast a spell. You sit and send. It's a strange spell. You've cast it a couple of times before, and every time you've had mixed results. But it's always such a strange spell because it's almost like sending out feelers. Not having a specific deity that you worship makes spells like these, where you're kind of calling out to something or someone, very hit and miss. So as you sit kind of cross-legged in the staging, like the sort of caravan staging area just by the gates of the city, you close your eyes and you can feel yourself like extending your magic outwards from yourself. And it's almost like how do you envision this spell working for you?
I guess I am meditating on because my faith comes from my faith in the partners. I'm envisioning the end goal that we seek here, which is obtaining both, I guess, knowledge about the cult, as well as a means with which we can enter deeper into the city.
Okay.
So I'm reaching out and envisioning that, and feeling if this path leads us to that end.
Okay. You send out your feelers, and instead of getting a specific reply from a specific being, it's almost like your inherent wisdom is perceiving the pros and cons, and you revert into what is essentially your mind palace, and you take the information you got from the silent partners and you kind of add it with what you suspect could happen, and then you throw in a few random elements. The result you come up with is weal and woe, both good and bad. You feel positive that outside the city there's less likelihood of an counter ambush, but inside the city, at least you know where they are.
So I'll stand up from my meditative position and turn to the others. Well, it's not what I would have wanted. I still have confidence in this approach. I feel like if we took more time, if we didn't feel the need to press, we could possibly come up with a better approach. But I think we're moving closer to our goal. And with that, I'm ready to leave.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm confident in our plan anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. You came up with it, so obviously.
Wow. We spitball between ourselves. It's okay.
I just needed the time to Sherlock all of the variables.
Essentially, it's very much I like to think of it as you kind of go within yourself. You try and use your magic to maybe find an outside influence, and because your faith comes from yourself and the silent partners, then you tend to turn inwards and use your great wisdom to effect. So, as you set out on your journey, there is no travelling map, unfortunately, because I don't have travelling maps installed right now, but the journey is fairly standard. Somebody, one of you, doesn't matter who, make a survival check for me.
I'll pass.
Pass too.
I'll gladly do it.
Great.
Wisdom, isn't it? You should be alright.
Breckec has been voluntold.
Survival, you said?
Yes, please.
Oh,
my God.
2 in a row.
There have been 2 rolls, all campaign. Great. Okay.
Getting lost.
So this is a desert, yeah? Or a savannah, sorry. This is my first time being in a savannah.
It's very overwhelming being in such a wide open space, and your kind of naive, unknowledgeable tiefling friend immediately just defers leadership over to you, and your overconfident, very self-absorbed tabaxi friend is all like, yes, well, defending,
stretching myself.
Stretching yourself, So it's down to you, the one not native to this plane, who's never really seen this much space before in a such a bright environment, to lead the party. You're not entirely sure which way is west. The idea of compass directions is alien to you. You don't have that back home. You do lose 2 hours of traveling. Luckily, because you're in the savannah and it's so open, you crest a hill. It's not a tall hill. It's only, it's like a small gradient. But eventually, as you get to the sort of peak of this very subtle hill, there's ahead of you, you see a very desolate looking blackened swamp, and then beyond it you can see the western inland sea.
As we're cresting the hill, I've been pretty much since the gate kind of nose down on the map, just staring at it, and as we crest the top, I'm like, oh, I see. I turn it around, and as we crest, I go, see, swamp, just like on the map.
Exactly.
I always trusted your abilities. While we've been traveling, I wanted to keep out a little bit an eye for any old tracks. I'm not a tracker by any means, but I just imagine if we go out, I see if I can find any old cart tracks, donkey hoof tracks, something like that.
There are plenty of opportunities for the other 2 of you to do other things if you wish, while you're being led astray by this unfamiliar to this plane deep gnome. Make a perception or investigation check for me.
Yeah. Bullshit. There we go. Picking up the rear.
I mean, we're very hot and cold right now. You do have some issues. The main one being that you're probably about 10 miles north of where you're supposed to be. But you do see in the distance like signs of travel that wouldn't. Nobody travels this way. There's no road. So there's signs of consistent use that a competent survivalist, or maybe even like someone who knows what they're looking at, would probably have just followed instead of looking at a map upside down. But you know, learn as you go along.
Now, as she points that out, I go, "Oh yes, you can see by the way that the grass is bent that someone has been through there."
Yes, I already noticed that. Thank you. Can I see the map for a second?
Sure.
And I take the map and I have a look at it, and then I want to determine whether we are where we're supposed to go or where we wanted to go.
Marked on the map, north of where the line that Spip drew is sort of like a range of hills that don't just come under the normal rolling savanna, more like they're more severe. They're actual hills, you know, and you can establish that that's probably where you are. So you're not far off track, but there's some making up to do. Like, you're probably 2 hours out of your way.
Well,
pick up the pace. Come on.
at least I guess if they do think someone walked this way, it doesn't seem like we're walking into the same direction, so that is a plus.
In hindsight, this was a good choice. They'll never assume that we're following them ahead of them.
You make a valid point.
Yeah, sounds good. Do we need to go south or north?
You'd need to go southwest slightly.
Okay, let's go southwest then.
I reach up and I point there where it says swamp. That's where we're going.
Yeah, well, we were supposed to arrive now somewhere near the swamp, but we're a little bit out of way, and I try to take it upon myself to lead the other two where we're supposed to go.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to do, Sarador?
Not really. I'd like to think I've been following around, been a bit confused, like realizing that maybe something wasn't quite right, but trusting the people who are like, in front of me to lead us the right way eventually. A bit horrified to discover that I was slightly mistaken. But you know what? It's been a good exercise, good walk. So yeah. Not too disappointed.
Mm-hmm. This has been like a brisk, easy walk for you. Like you're barely even breathing hard.
I would like to, and I can't do it, but I mean, I guess I have to wait for a short rest to tune the belt.
Yeah,
I can't do it on the road.
No.
Walking, okay.
Because you're not focusing on it necessarily.
Although
I can walk in my sleep. I'm so athletic. I can just close my eyes.
But then you're sleeping and not focusing on the belt.
I'm just saying I could sleep and walk. I can focus on the belt and walk as well.
Although from the hill we're on, can we still see the city as well as the swamp? Are we sort of triangulating?
It's very easy to never lose sight of the city. It's one of the reasons why you're not completely lost. It's because you always had the city behind you as a reference of where you are.
But can we see well enough to see if a cart was leaving the gate? Or is it too... Okay.
So the journey is...
Not even like dust being kicked up or anything.
You can't see it that well.
Okay.
What you can see is like the top sort of 400 feet of the pyramid, and also the buildings of the outer ring that are built up above the wall, because it's just so built up that it's just a really tall structure. So you basically, having traveled sort of 6 or 7 miles, you can still see it having not quite hit the horizon. And you can't see any specific detail. You can't see gates, you can't see watchtowers necessarily, but you can still see the mass that is the city. But what you can see from this vantage point is the track that they have been following. So if you wanted to, you could stay here, conceivably, and watch, if you didn't want to go to the swamp.
That was my thinking. Is we could have a little rest here. You can get that belt on, see how it feels. I can study that map some more.
Please do.
Alternatively, we could move on and reach just into the swamp where the path meets it, and I think, was it that they leave around sunset?
Yes.
And the sun now is still.
You're probably heading into late evening, so you've still got a few hours before they even leave.
So, we can reach somewhere closer to the trail and then take a quick rest then at that point, once we're in position, or we could do that now.
If you wanted to.
I think.
Yeah, I think getting closer is a good idea, making up these 2 hours and get in position and just have a quick look around, the swamp, the beginning of the swamp. Do we see anything that catches us off guard around there? I mean, obviously, we don't have a precise time measurement. We don't know that they have been traveling for 6 hours, 3 minutes, and 25 seconds, and what pace they've been traveling to know where they vanished specifically. But maybe we can backtrack the trail a little bit, cover our tracks again, and just see if there's, in a span of maybe a mile or so, anything that stands out to us of being suspicious.
From this vantage point on the hill, there's nothing that suggests there's a spot specifically where they leave.
But we're also 10 miles out, aren't we?
You're not quite 10 miles out. You're about 7.
Okay.
Then basically in a sort of 10-mile-ish radius of the city, it's just cleared out plain. You do pass some farmland, admittedly, like this. It's not completely devoid of life and everything. But there's no, like, trees are sort of 10-ish miles at least. So you've still got a few miles to travel before you hit the tree line.
It would be good to get closer and familiarize ourselves with the area before it gets much darker. I agree. But I think we still would have time once we're staged that you can familiarize yourself with your new belt.
Oh yeah,
collar, if you will.
Wow, it'll only take like an hour or so to get used to it. But I think we should get there, and yeah, just before we get there, in case there's any more delays, don't want to like dally too much here, and then realize we haven't got enough time in the end.
You like the three of you combined are aware that you could still make it to the swamp. Like you could travel directly to the path, like the tracks, and then follow them for the last couple of miles and still get there with plenty of time to spare before they would conceivably arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could have your rest.
We stay to the side of the tracks a bit more though.
That's also an option.
Within vision, but not following them.
Or even skirt the edge of the swamp, or is that dangerous? What I've heard tales of swamps.
I know.
I can't say my curiosity doesn't say, hey, let's go in that swamp. I've seen plenty of savannah. Well, I saw a map of a savannah, but I'm really curious to see more of that whole swamp thing.
Oh, I'm sure we're going to be going in there. Don't worry about that.
Because really, geometrically, our options are to the path, follow the path, straight to where the path meets the swamp, or finish our way to the edge of the swamp and kind of skirt the edge of it down to where the path meets it, which I think would keep our path out of their view as much as possible, rather than cutting our own visible path through this savanna.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second option, just to kind of head towards that specific point, would be do a similar thing. But when we get close to the point, then we could maybe like go towards the swamp, I guess. A bit more.
I take another look at the map and then I just start walking.
I'm lost in thought as you walk away, and you probably get 30 feet ahead or so, and then I look up and go, oh, and kind of jog to catch up.
Keep up, keep up, keep up, keep up.
I'm visibly like antsy. I just want to get going.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
Are you just gonna head directly to the swamp then? Yeah.
So meet the point we're supposed to, I think. I'm not leading, so.
Well, of course.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just heading towards the, like, visually following the trail that we can see in the distance, and then heading towards where it meets the swamp.
All right.
And I will as we're walking, kind of be. There's a lot I'm taking in, still distracted, even without the map in front of me. But I will be kind of turning to try and look, just even if it's too far to have seen anything. I'll keep watch for the city to see if I see, again, clouds of dust or birds flying like they've been disturbed. But also eyeing the swamp as we kind of near more, just because I'm fascinated by what could be lurking within.
Right. Make a perception check for me. Please roll better than a 1. Because otherwise you're cursed.
Why break my streak?
Right? Oh,
I mean, it's not a 1.
it has a 1 in it. You can't see anything. You can't see like dust or birds. But that could just mean they haven't left yet.
Okay.
It's getting to a point where, conceivably they could be about to leave, or like tracking time for you especially, not being a native to the land is difficult because the sun is a thing, and that's how people tend to track time, and you don't quite understand. It's very bright. How do people look at it? So okay, right. Rando, you're new. Roll a d4 and re-roll 1s for me.
A single d4?
Yep. 4. Excellent.
Hey.
Oh, no. Yes, okay. So you make it to the swamp in fairly good time. Like, kind of having a reference of where you're going now makes the travel fairly simple. Without too much difficulty, oh no, I didn't need that open. Arrive, and the area you get to is quite unsettling. This isn't just any swamp. The area you arrive in is sort of contrary to what you were seeing as you approached. There's torches, and they're all lit. And Breckec, you especially, you notice that. Sarador, you do too. These are kept going by some kind of magic, whether it's arcane, divine, you're not sure. But the two of you are sort of competent in magic enough to know that magic is keeping these torches alive. But you've also kind of entered a very treeless area. It's just water flowing through slowly. It's kind of semi-stagnant. There is a pretty foul stench. But the sort of immediate area around you is quite tree-free.
And there are just magical lights in this general area, or all up and down the sides of the swamp entrance?
From here, especially, it just seems like they're lighting either this area specifically, or they're lighting a path. You can't see beyond your current vision. So, like, it's lit well enough that you especially can see sort of like the 150 odd feet ahead of you. And you can see behind you because there's just enough light outside the swamp to light up behind you. So you have vision of your surroundings, but you also have these unusual torches that are already lit.
So the boulders ahead, we see those boulders ahead? Is that what those are?
Yeah, they're boulders, essentially.
Shall we go find what shelter there is around these boulders?
Yes, so.
And you can try on your belt then?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do that. Let's be careful though, because
or maybe you could put on the belt here. We think they should be far enough behind that they're not going to surprise us if we take a little while to sit here.
I mean, yeah, they should be ours yet, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Who lit those? I forgot the word. German, English.
Torches.
Torches. Who lit those torches? Surely someone.
It's got to be something to do with the cult, I'd imagine, because looking up and down the side of the swamp on the way in, we didn't really see any others.
Yeah.
Also,
Surely someone must be here. Sorry.
I should note, from afar, looking in, you didn't see them. It wasn't until you stepped into the threshold of the swamp that you saw the lights.
Are they fairly linear, like they are a path?
This is water in between, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like stagnant-y, boggy. Thank you.
Right, so that's all water. The dark brown is the land.
So if we're taking a quick chance just here before we disturb any water or anything that may be unfriendly, if you want to familiarize with your belt, we may need it.
I feel like we should look around the area and just make sure, because there's some cult people coming this way, doesn't mean there aren't any cult people already here.
Yeah.
Amongst other evil things.
Looking ahead, is the line of these torches fairly linear going in, or is it broadly covering the area?
They are lighting the area more than lighting a path.
Okay. So if we're taking a chance to settle in here, I would try and ascertain the nature of these lights with...
Make an Arcana check for me.
Oh, I was going to ritually cast Identify if we're sitting here.
Yeah, do that too. That's fine, sorry. Go for it.
I was trying to figure out how to link it in chat again, but...
Well, if we're going to ritually cast stuff, I think I'll probably will just chill here and start attuning to my belt.
Go for it. So you're just gonna have a short rest, yeah?
Oh, wait. So again, 100 gold. I don't think I have.
You have a lot of money.
Not that much.
I don't have a lot of money.
I give you 100 gold then. I have a lot of money.
Okay.
But where did the money come from?
I don't know.
Evidently I pressed one too many zeros.
I know.
Or
probably from coming second place quite often, I imagine.
Yeah, probably.
I have more money than you. No tech packs now.
Have you looked at it?
Yeah.
Look at my inventory, how dare you?
Right. While you guys have a short rest, we'll just have a short break. We'll take 5 minutes. Feel free to go for a quick break if you wish.
Yeah, I've got slightly more than me. Disappointing.
Ah,
All right.
disappointed.
I've just spent mine. That's
Obviously. But yeah, I'll be right back. You guys be right back too if you wish.
same.
I don't have a stats screen to put up anymore, so I'll just leave it at this. It'll be fine.
I'm gonna switch off my camera. I hope it comes back normally when I'm back.
Look at all these empty chairs. Oh my gosh. Why am I now Yathina's character? This isn't worked out very well. Something's gone wrong. I might go get a beer. Oh, apologies. I'm not sure if chat can actually hear me yet. Not sure.
So, yeah, the turning off video doesn't quite work.
No, because now I'm Yathina.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm still myself. I can't believe 2 nat ones. What a way to open.
First 2 rolls. Disgraceful. I've not rolled yet. I like to think my character's just like quite relaxed, but I don't know. I knew I had no wisdom really, so I was like, probably going to be the cleric's probably going to be the one leading the survival checks, probably. But
yeah. Well, no offense to the Tabaxi, but I'm definitely the curiosity killed the cat type character. So
right.
So someone better rein me in.
Well, you can be curious. I'll try to focus us. We'll see. I ended up leading a bit on scale, so I want to like sit back a bit, maybe. There's only 3 of us though, so it's a bit different.
Right. I think I think Breck can kind of just take lead because spent so much time alone wandering that I'll gladly pursue my own interests. But and it hasn't gotten me killed so far, so
Okay.
But
Not yet.
I don't know. I don't know about this whole swamp in Savannah.
Beerus is now Yathina. Nice.
Yes, we've been moved.
Okay. I know, right? Yathina looks different. Exactly. Hey, Vicky, by the way.
It's more like a winner now.
More like, like a competent and encouraging type. Exactly. Although I do think Yathina's beard's better.
Well, apparently wearing this beard, there's a 50% chance every day that I might grow a full beard.
It's true.
Which I'd like to have IRL, to be fair.
I mean, that would be useful, wouldn't it? Okay, so Yathina's still not here.
Well, I can fill time with the beans. I don't know.
No, do it.
Have a bean.
Do it, Rando.
All right. The least hot. Oh, that's dangerous because red could either be Carolina Reaper or Sriracha.
Nice. I don't know what any of those are, but do it.
Sriracha's quite mild.
Sriracha. There we go. First one, Sriracha.
Very basic.
As beans roll everywhere.
Go on.
It tastes like Sriracha.
I don't know what that tastes like, but I believe you.
You quite often over here get sriracha in those little red squeezy tubes.
Oh no. Yeah, I feel like it's hotter than actual Sriracha sauce. Which has me very worried about the hotter ones. Well, I survived.
I'm proud of you.
Surely that's worth inspiration. No.
Okay. Why? No. There we go. It's that easy. I literally can just drag everyone around like. That's nice. Makes life. Oh no. Oh god.
Did I fuck it up? I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No problem.
I'm a DM. I'm DM. Inspiration for everyone.
I'm a DM. Everyone gets 1,000 extra hit points. Okay. So now that everyone's back, yeah. So Yathina said sorry, so that's okay. We forgive you, Yathina. You were taking your short rest. Still learning names. Sorry. Breckec, you were identifying the torch. You cast Identify, and you get the strong sense of like arcane energy, arcane magic from it. Like there is something arcane keeping them lit, but at the same time they are just mundane wooden torches that are being kept alive. Oh god.
Do I know exactly what spell was used?
Not being an arcane caster yourself, the spells for such a thing kind of are beyond you, but you're present, like you have enough of a grasp to know the difference and know that to keep this amount of torches going, it's got to be fairly strong.
Yeah, I guess I turn to see Sarador still. I don't know how you're attuning to your belt. I assume put it on, doing some squats.
Moving it around a bit, adjusting the I don't want to be too squeezed, making sure I can get right down without being too tight.
So I say, well, these seem like normal torches, but whatever power's keeping them all lit, this many torches, is something we're not equipped to likely deal with, but perhaps these alone are a clue to what the cult may be doing with what they bring out here.
Maybe. Or maybe they lead somewhere without having to us follow. But I guess if we hide and we lose them, maybe we could follow the torches to something. I've kind of failed to believe how they wouldn't, they'd lose them so easily. Like there's torches everywhere. They had a cart with a donkey. I mean, unless they turn invisible somehow, then how did they not follow them to the destination? I'm so confused.
There's any number of, well, in a deep environment anyway, there's any number of portals one may stumble into, or doors that are disguised by the terrain themselves. There was this one time, and I go off on a long story. Whether or not they're paying attention, I tell my story.
While he talks, I step into the water to try to get into the next island.
So I follow along in your footsteps as I continue talking.
Okay.
I'm still resting, tuning.
The first step you take into the water, it's fairly shallow, easily doable. The second step, there's almost a sudden drop of a sizable amount, feet worth of a drop, and you drop down to your hips. I was going to say, Breckec, not really paying attention, you follow, and you are underwater.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Well,
I instinctively grab him and try to pull him out and pull him up.
Okay, make a strength check.
I'm just gonna let this happen, whatever happens. By the way, I'm just chilling.
Okay, I didn't see.
I guess
9.
9.
As you try and pull Breckec out of the water, there's something resisting.
I guess we have clasped hands.
Yeah, you're like
that...
you're like this.
So I guess can I, guiding myself, attempt to pull myself out by her arm?
You can. It would be a strength saving throw with disadvantage, as you feel temerity try and pull you out as you sort of slip under. You feel something gripping at your foot, and as you try and pull yourself out, it's a strength saving throw for me.
Yep. Strength. Remind me again, saving throws. Oh yeah, no, I still just got it. And with an added D4.
Yep, roll your D4. I didn't mean to roll for Sarador, sorry. I meant to roll just for myself, but... So even pulling with all your might and using your divine energy to keep you, sort of boost you as best you can, the thing that's gripping you is still holding tight, like it's a vice grip around your ankle. At this point, you're starting to sort of exhale all your oxygen, and you are essentially starting to drown.
Little help here, please.
I'd like to think I'm legs crossed, sitting on the bank, our hands on this belt, and just eyes closed, just focusing. I'll open one eye. What? Where's the other one?
You
I need
just
some help. He's
you just see
underwater.
Temerity like struggling against something in the water, and Breckec is gone.
So I guess I can judge whereabouts he would be based on
It's
Temerity.
fairly easy to assume, yeah.
I'm going to launch my hand down. I'll stand up then. I'll launch my hand down, and I'm trying to grab his head.
All right, okay.
And I'm going to try to pull him out by his head if possible.
Yeah, I continue to pull his arm.
Okay, so make a strength check with advantage.
Me or
No,
Sarador.
Sarador.
Strength check with advantage.
Nice.
Just another one. Can I catapult him up?
Easy. You just like yeet him out and he just flies out. Whatever had grip of your ankle just slips free as you are just grabbed by the head and just pulled out.
Which direction was I yeeted back toward the shore we came from?
Yeah.
With a nat 20, could I throw him over the other side?
If you wanted to, yeah. I mean, you are suddenly extremely strong. You have the means.
Okay. By the head, lifting out for like a, I don't know, like a, what's that? Putting the plunger out off of like a toilet or something. I don't know. And just launches him over to the other bank.
Gone. So you are now on the other side. Temerity is still in the water, and you are on sort of here, yeah. Just sort of half stepped in.
You see, I'm holding the potion of flying, which was the only idea I had as I began to drown of something else I could try. And I yell out, "Don't go in the water. There's something in there."
Too late, I already go over to him.
I'm just trying to rest, guys.
Everyone make a perception check for me. Okay. Sarador, you more than the other two, kind of more composed, not really having the same adrenaline rush of surprise that the other two had. You are kind of clearer as you stare into the water, sort of, lamenting the loss of the breaking of your rest. Kind of scouring to see if there's anything in there. Nothing stands out at you.
I assume it's probably just like roots and stuff they got caught in, maybe.
Reasonable. It's perfectly reasonable.
I'm sitting back down.
I have put the potion back in my pouch, and seeing that Temerity is making the way across, I am kind of like ready to try and reach and say, "What are you doing? There's something grabbed my leg."
Well, I seem to make it over fine.
The two of you aren't able to see anything particular. Or in particular, sorry, that could have grabbed you like that.
Do I make it over fine?
Yeah.
Breckec, are you okay? That wasn't nice.
Well, I can't say it's the first time I've been over my head in water, but there was something different. There was something grabbed me. It didn't feel like a normal tangle. Believe me, I've had plenty of near drownings. This felt like intent, and with these torches, I'm beginning to wonder if we could be a little in over our head, but I don't know what kind of creature would live in a swamp. So it's my guess. Maybe I imagined it, though if both of us struggled to get me out of the water, it required 2 star athletes to do so.
Well,
Just one. Eyes closed.
it wouldn't have
Um,
broken your short rest, by the way, for you, Boreas, especially, because it's like a quick burst of activity, and then back to your rest. So you're okay for still being in the same short rest.
Good.
Yeah, I just wanna, I having made it to the second island, I just wanna have a look around. Obviously, I assume, Temerity assumes she would have seen anything if there was anything on it, but she's just looking around, maybe having a closer look at one of those torches and marveling in the magic of it that she just doesn't understand.
And I'm pretty content to stand where I am and watch. I might stay semi-close in case, again, me expecting her to go under, but I guess I don't know your height. I maybe come up to waist at most.
Yeah, she's about 6 feet.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not going in any more water until I see that you've tread the path.
If I did one little action, would that break my short rest, or
What action would you like to do?
divine sense?
You could divine sense. What are you trying to divine?
Just I don't know. If there is something underneath the water that kind of like potentially grabbed them, then I guess it could be like an undead something. I don't know. It could be anything really, but I figure I've got a lot of uses of my divine sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I might as well just see if anything is celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet.
That's what they're there for.
That's what I think.
Okay, so you send out your divine sense, kind of reaching out and sort of sensing anything you can. Make just a quick con save for me. It's an easy DC, but just...
Oh.
Why did you say that it's an easy DC? You cast
because
him.
you literally just had to beat 10.
I got +6 as well. Nice.
Yeah. So you take sort of 3 points of psychic damage as a kind of reverb from your divine sense. It feels, as you kind of sat there, you're just like, may as well. I can do. It's something I can do, and it hits you very quickly of just like an overwhelming number of undead.
Oh, in the 60-foot radius.
Just in the 60-foot radius.
So, with the detect undead, that'd be like undead that is like that would fight us, not just dead bodies. That's what.
Does divine sense allow you to tell if they're hostile? I don't know. It's a genuine question.
What does it say? You can detect good and evil. Until the end of your next turn, you can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial thing or undead. That isn't behind total cover.
It doesn't tell you whether it's
So you can tell that just in this sort of this part of the swamp river alone, like within 60 feet, there are at least possibly 30, 40 creatures of undeath.
And there's so many that gave me a bit of a mind.
Yeah, it's because you were sort of in the zone, concentrating and resting, and it just kind of hit you out of nowhere, just how kind of like this place is.
Okay.
What you can't tell is their intent, their deadliness, whether they're hostile, whether they're like undead but sort of stuck, if that makes sense. All you can tell is that there's one or two undead around.
You two come back a bit closer.
What's the matter?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of one of my abilities is to detect good and evil, and celestials and undead. There's quite a lot of undead around us. A lot.
I immediately look around. Where?
All around. Just we're looking at dozens.
I can't see anything.
Trust me, they're there. They may not be like trying to kill us, but I don't know. Just maybe that's what grabbed you. Maybe they're under the water. Maybe they're in the dirt. Maybe they're friendly. Maybe they're just passive. Maybe they're out to hunt. I don't know, but just be careful where you step.
Hearing this, and remembering the feel of the grip on my leg, me, player Rando, was envisioning tentacle, but thinking back, did it feel like a hand grasping my ankle?
There's a fine line between a hand grabbing you and a root catching you.
Okay.
But your inherent kind of divine, like you also have divine sense, I believe, in some form.
That's where I was digging through, trying to see.
So, I don't think you have divine sense, but you do have like turn undead. So,
yep.
You have a kind of automatic aversion. You were so in the zone that you didn't think about it when it happened, but now that it's been mentioned to you, you do have like a chill just spreading up your leg.
So at that thought, I'm holding my symbol of the partners. That is my de facto divine symbol. Ready to turn undead should things go awry.
Okay.
So what are we doing? I definitely can't cross that section of water again. I mean, I could try swimming, but with my, shall we say, density, that doesn't seem like it would bode much better.
It's fine. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me just.
Can you make it to this middle section here? Certainly, it's not that far of a jump, right?
I could make probably a running jump, easily crossing that. He said after having rolled 2 nat 1s in a row.
I see nothing that could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, I'll take a running leap to try and get to that small
Let
island.
me go first.
Okay.
And then maybe I can sort of help you or grab you if you stumble or something.
Okay, as you get ready to run and jump, I'll touch you and cast guidance.
Okay. Yeah, I'll jump over to this middle section.
It's not difficult for you. I mean...
Yeah.
No, not even a roll.
No.
I'll take the guidance for next time, no?
It lasts for a minute, so you've got guidance for a minute. It's only a 5-foot wide gap, so for Temerity it's not too difficult, but for Breckec, who is, half the size, you don't have the leg span to kind of do the single leap, so you would have to take a run at it. So, you gonna go for it?
Yeah.
I hold my hand out just so he has something to grab onto if he stumbles or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I am making a go for it.
Amazing. Okay, so roll an athletics check for me.
And yeah, guiding myself as well as I prepare to jump.
That would end the guidance on
I know.
Temerity.
Yeah.
So 11 plus your d4. 14. That's not bad. With the help of Temerity kind of reaching out and grabbing hold of you, you do manage to just about leap across. Your 1 foot does sort of ripple the water a little bit. You are now a quarter of the way across.
Yeah,
So I
same
guess
thing again.
yeah, I guess I'm not that used to wandering savannas all day.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you get caught in the water again, you'll get pulled out by
So
Sarado.
again, I will guide you for your attempt.
This time you will have to roll, because it's going to be a standing jump and 10 feet. I can't remember what the jump rules are, but just roll an
I
athletics
don't
check.
know either.
I can never remember, honestly.
Athletics, is it?
Yep.
Plus a d4.
Plus a d4. Yeah, you get across. There's a momentary sort of lapse where you kind of panic a little bit, but you compose yourself, you're okay. It's now the turn of the person half your size who 100% is going to have a hard time doing this.
I hold my hand out again, although I know this time it probably won't do anything if you can't even make it to my hand. So, but I ready myself to either catch him or pull him out of the water.
Okay.
And I once again guide myself, but as I'm making the run, hand on the holy symbol, ready to turn undead if I hit the water and feel something grab me.
Okay.
So
17. Oh, sorry, with disadvantage.
Oh.
That's my fault, I forgot to tell you. Okay. 19.
17.
15 plus 4 with disadvantage 17, yeah, sorry. Ugh, good maths, me. I was doing so well to not show how tired I was. With such little run up, it's kind of difficult to propel yourself. You manage it. You get to like here just before Temerity can reach out to grab you, and Sarador, make a perception check for me. You see a ripple in the water. Temerity is focused on Breckec. Breckec is focused on running across this gap. You see a ripple, and then a sort of hand with 6 fingers. Fingers that seem like 6 or 7, 8 inches long, with what can only be described as like rotting flesh, just sort of swathing off it, and it reaches out, and the arm follows, and then there's a shoulder, and then there's a sort of top of a torso, and then there's a head that's kind of hanging like nearly headless Nick, kind of half off the body, and
doesn't look very good. So I think without even thinking, I'm just going to try to jump up and take a swing down into it.
Okay, so
I have a chance to.
as it's kind of reaching out towards Breckec, you take a step forward into the water and swing for it with your axe.
Yes.
It's there if you want to target it.
Oh,
Actually, sorry, it would be there.
Okay. So I'll probably target that one. I'll probably be like here then in that case if I can.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fast attack roll. It's a bonus attack, it's fine.
Roll damage.
I can't reach him.
No, that's true. Temerity.
So-
Fuck's sake.
As as Sarador
Smite. I'm joking.
as Sarador steps forwards to take a swing at this creature that you literally have no idea is there, because you're focused on reaching out for Breckec. Sarador slips as he takes a step forward, and his foot slips into the boggy, disgusting water, and his sword, it's an axe, isn't it? Yeah, his great axe slips from its angle, and it just it kind of glances along the side of your stomach, and just like leaves you with a nice deep graze.
What
And
the
you
fuck are you doing?
You take 10 points of slashing damage.
I knew you'd need some potions to zone.
Breckec,
Yes.
roll a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage for me.
I guess I don't get both my attacks. I just get the one attack.
You just get the one, it's your reaction.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
You, instead of being grasped by temerity, you feel this chill as a sort of bony, fleshless hand kind of grapples around your back, and then another one, and starts pulling you down with it.
I panic, turn undead if I can.
You can. Can you press the ability for me? Or press the feature?
Yes.
Did you press the icon?
Oh. The icon.
I think you did, because you've only got one left.
Yeah, yeah.
So what saving throw is it? Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom saving throw. To beat a 12, is it?
No, 16.
Ooh, okay. Ignore the failure sound. I started the encounter and it took 2 minutes. Oh yeah, DC 16. So you're dragged down, and as your body impacts the water, you manage to get your channel divinity turn undead out, and the creature releases you and sort of slumps back into the water without even really causing a splash or anything. It just sort of falls back in and starts drifting away. And all of you now see, as Breckec's body splashes into the water, unlike the creature, that underneath, in about 30 feet of where Breckec's sort of now sort of semi-floating, the water just clears, and it goes from being like this brackish bog to almost completely see-through.
I as soon as I feel them let go, I am paddling toward the shore.
Yeah, I try and help him get out of the water immediately.
Okay.
What was that? Why did you hit me? What is going on?
Accidents happen. It was not intentional. What I will say is, why are you guys jumping into the water? We're supposed to be resting for a little bit.
I just wanted to have a look around. What's going on? I didn't
Curiosity,
think there was
dangerous sometimes.
shit in the water.
So everywhere it's clear, we assume like they're all gone or dead or something. So that means that everywhere else on the map is just full of. Okay, we need to find a way through without. Maybe there's. Maybe there's something to do with the lights here. Maybe we need to go between the lights or something through the water.
I look where the torches are. Is the water, other than this 30 foot radius, is the water any different around where the torches are lit?
Now that you've done your turn undead, the water still smells, and it's still kind of brackish, but it doesn't have that kind of gloopy look to it. There seems to be it almost looks like, in a kind of technical sense, I guess, it looks like normal water that's just kind of stagnated. Whereas beyond 30 feet of you, it's thick, and it's not thick, but it looks thick. It's kind of sort of full, almost. Kind of like when you pour sugar into water and it gives that kind of
super
floatiness.
saturated.
Yeah.
And it's no different, say, along the shore by these torches or anything.
No.
Okay.
So from where you are now, like, you've got 30 feet, obviously, so, you know, to that way is all clear. Even beyond, in this direction, it's still, you know, it's like this torch is probably the closest one. It looks like the nasty, gross water that you saw when you arrived.
Hmm.
So did your thing you just did kill them?
No. It anything undead will flee from me. Only lasts a minute, so with that I back up a little further from the water. So I don't know what that means when it ends. How did you say you sensed many of these undead?
Oh yes, dozens. Yes.
Right.
Oop, step off the map.
Where do we go from here then? I still need to rest.
Okay, you finish your rest. We just wait here until you're done with that and come up with a plan in the meantime. Surely we cannot go back into the water. And time's running out. They'll have left by now if it took us 2 hours to get from the initial point where we arrived to back to here. So
They might have left by now, but it took us about 4 hours, wasn't it, Scare? Not
Closer to 6.
to get it. Okay.
So by the end of your short rest, they'll be leaving.
Plenty of time still. Okay, we can work our way. I'm kind of worried that if they come to this point, if the undead don't return, they'll know that something's happened in this water here. But I guess it could have just been at any point someone could have stumbled across there, not just us now, I guess.
okay, we are right on the edge of the swamp, right? Like we've just stepped in.
Yep.
I want to step out of the swamp, of the area of the swamp, or just go back on the trail that we just came from. And I want to see if I can. My intention is not to look back at the swamp because I don't think Temerity would know that there's something fishy going on, apart from the fact that she has no experience with fishy things, but she doesn't make the connection that there might be something super magical going on. But she just wants to look around the area outside the swamp, maybe go like 500 feet back down the path just to see if there's anything around that she can see that strikes her as odd.
Okay. As you head further down, the water of the swamp as you look in, and specifically the swamp itself, has nothing close to or resembling the same atmosphere as the part you were just in. It seems
and I can still see it.
Yes.
Okay.
But there are no torches. There are trees. There's a bit of growth, like it's a sort of fairly fertile swamp, you know.
Can I, as I have gone down the 500 feet and turn around to go back to my friends, can I see my friends from that distance?
Make a perception check.
I'd be sitting down and he'd be quite short. So
Both of you are.
It's starting to get dark, and 500 feet is beyond your dark vision. But you're distinctly aware that you don't see any torches, and you don't see your party mates.
I'm sitting here thinking through, particularly given the earlier augury and the mixed message I got from that. Thinking through, and I think I say out loud as I'm thinking, water walk would have been useful. I didn't know swamps had so much water.
I have water stuff.
Imagine the day Yathina remembers what features and abilities she has.
I look at that in a second, but yeah, I make my way back in a straight line towards where I last saw my friends, slightly confused. Guys, where are you? What?
Do I hear her?
Yeah, you hear her.
Okay. I'll call out. What? We're right. Can I see her?
Yeah.
I'm waving my arms like we're right here. What are you doing?
Can I see them? As I get closer.
You don't.
Can I hear them?
Nope. You don't see or hear them until you get to pretty much the same point where you entered the swamp.
Okay, so when I'm still like 10 feet out, I'm still super confused, looking around, confused why I can't see anyone, why everything is darker now, why I can't see the torches, why I can't see. Well, I see the water, I see like a different swamp essentially, and then I step, like unknowingly step back over this threshold, suddenly seeing them, taking a step back again, then taking a step forward again. Wait, what's happening?
I'm just staring at you like, why are you behaving so weird?
I couldn't see you until now. I hear you, and
what?
It looks different.
I walk 10 feet off back where she came from and turn around. Do I see them?
Nope.
And I come back as I'm walking. Wow. Would I have heard of anything like this?
Make an Arcana check. Your main magical study and field of magic is always been divine magic. That is your speciality. But you've studied arcane stuff a lot, being such a bookish gnome. You know of spells that can either block perception and show you something that isn't there, or block your sight of things that are there. You also know of spells that send you to different planes, different areas of the world. If you're powerful enough, anything's really possible with magic if you're willing to push it.
And the fact that we can see through the one way, though, would that imply maybe this is not a portal of types and maybe more of the hiding terrain or something like that?
Say that again, sorry?
The fact that we can see through the other way, would that imply, given my knowledge, that it is not a portal type situation, but more of the modified terrain visibility?
Potentially. It's either very clever in the way it's been done, so that you're teleported to a different area or plane of the world that's also a swamp, so that potentially people aren't too confused if they are teleported there, or this is something that's been worked on and people are like the cult specifically are using this area and trying to hide it from people.
I can begin to see why or how our predecessors may have lost track of carts they were following, though I'm not entirely sure why or how, but Then I sit down and ponder, because I don't have any deep understanding or solutions.
That actually makes sense why I lost them. Yeah, you're correct. If you were saying it out loud, by the way, I don't know if you were.
Yeah. I don't have much of an inner monologue. Most of my thoughts come out.
Okay. They still had to cross this area. I'm guessing maybe the undead are friendly to them. Maybe they know a way across that's safe.
I can freeze the water.
Well, all of it.
Enough for us to cross.
What is it? How long does it last frozen for?
Well, that I don't know. Hold on.
One action.
One action, yeah.
As an action, you can spend 1 key point to manipulate, reshape, raise or lower, freeze or unfreeze an area of ice or water no larger than 30 feet on a side within 120 feet of you. It doesn't actually say a duration.
No. I guess as long as ice would last in that temperature or something, not realistically. Okay. Well, do you want to still try to get to the boulders in the middle?
I don't think those are actually boulders, are they?
Oh, that's pretty. What about rocks? Well, now we know that we can stand here and look out, and when they get closer, we might have to move. But until then, they won't be able to see us, unless
At
they.
that point, I speak up and say, "Well, that's just what I was wondering. So we can see out, but we can't see in. But would that mean that they can see out but not in, or can they see both directions? When they cross this threshold, would we see them approach and vanish as they crossed the threshold?"
Who knows? I mean, we don't know how their magic works. Maybe they've got like say an item that means they can look through. Maybe they're like trained to look through. It could be a risk, actually.
I mean, they are not going to expect us being here. We can still stage an ambush here.
Well, ambush, we just wanted to wait and just see them pass, didn't we? Not to necessarily attack them.
That, yeah. I don't know where we would be hiding though, because it's
my worry is that this, and I gesture out at the immediate torchlit swamp area, is an illusion, and that once they cross into this illusion, they will be in a different terrain together, and we may lose track of them, and that split reality is how they've lost track. Though if we stand by and watch, we can learn that at least.
I mean everyone following them has been probably behind them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd lose them as soon as they go into here. By the time they catch up, if they catch up at all, they've made a lot of progress. So that'd be my hunch at how they lost them. Yeah,
I agree.
Rather than something else.
They probably never made it this far to investigate where they have gone. They will have stayed a certain distance to not be detected. Maybe they have never been detected and they just assumed they were because they suddenly didn't see them anymore. Because they went into this.
Do I see muddy footprints, or say where I fought my way back up onto the shore? Are we leaving a mark on the ground, or does it seem like, okay?
You like where you have scrabbled on the floor, on the edges. There's been sort of mud scraped in where you all have kind of been stepping because the ground is so wet. You've been sort of sinking uneven footprints.
So do I see something like donkey or wagon cart tracks in the mud?
Make a perception check.
Perception.
I mean...
Hey, I rolled over 10.
I was going to say you rolled ones, so that's on brand. You do see hints of tracks, but because the three of you have kind of been, in and around and trampling, it's quite difficult to, but there are tracks. This doesn't seem to be an illusion.
Okay, we finished resting up so I can get this belt finally sorted out.
Yes.
Then we not rush. Then how about we just follow those tracks? We try to follow these tracks and get ahead of it. Maybe we don't have to worry about these other people. Sure, they go to the same place.
Yeah.
Then maybe there'll be somewhere, or at least maybe there'll be somewhere better for us to hide. It's a bit open here at the moment, unless we go in the water. But
when I went, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to ask. When I went outside of this area where I saw the swamp, I saw trees, but now there's no trees around.
Yes.
Okay.
Not in this kind of lit up area anyway. You can still see trees beyond it, but you can't. There are no trees blocking your route here.
How tall are the boulders that are around? I know some of the things that we think are boulders are ponds, but there are boulders on the middle island.
Mm-hmm.
How tall are these?
So these are ponds.
Yeah.
But they're not really ponds. They're like puddles, big puddles.
Yeah.
But the rocks and boulders around them are probably 4 to 5 feet tall. Judging from what you can see, from a distance.
Yeah. If we cower behind them, if we kneel down or something, we could hide behind them.
Yeah, let the gnome kneel behind a rock.
Well, the gnome can stand behind a rock and no one will see himself.
It seems no one knows the gnome's name, since the gnome is being referred to in the...
I am Gnome Man.
Nice.
I know names. Problem is, if they try to walk directly past us, it could be very difficult.
You guys have magic. Can't you make us invisible or something?
Not that kind of magic, unfortunately.
What are you good for then?
Pulling gnomes out of the water.
Yeah.
Um,
Slashing me in the tummy.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Do you want me for this rest and you can maybe heal up a little bit?
Sure.
Oh, you can roll a hit die if you want your hit points back, by the way.
Do I get a short rest that would restore that channel divinity usage, or
sure,
no,
if you wanted to spend another hour resting.
Well, yeah, no.
You weren't resting during that hour. You were actioning.
It was
Definitely.
a restful near-death experience. I don't know what you're talking about.
Was it though?
You also casting for 10 minutes, weren't you?
Yeah.
No, you don't get your hit points back.
Wait, what?
Only I do.
You do. I need to get names. God damn it, Sarador. Sorry.
Towards the end of the long rest, I come up with one other idea.
Full health.
And just this nearest torch. I attempt to use thaumaturgy to cause flames to flicker, dim, or change color. Can I cause that light to dim? Can I control it at all?
As you thaumaturgy, you try and dim the light. And instead, you seem to just make it brighter. It seems like the use of magic on it, with the intent, has made it just shine brighter. You then notice
Interesting.
across from you other lamps. Not all of them, just some light up. Not in like any specific order either. Like this one starts off, like the first one starts, and then this one up here goes, and then this one, and then this one, and then further on you see lights flicker on.
No movement of the water or anything corresponding.
Not that you can see. No ripples in the water.
Could designate a safer route, maybe.
Maybe. Or maybe that's heightened awareness of whatever keeps these lights going. 50-50 shot.
So have we had the hour rest already? Are we done? Or are you still approaching it? Still in it, sorry.
Are you doing another hour rest?
Not now, though.
No.
I don't
No,
think.
So yeah, your first short rest is
Oh,
done.
it has been done.
Yeah, so you've got your attunement. Because you attuned during your rest.
Yeah.
Can I have one of those health potions?
Yeah. Well, I can heal myself. I'm sure Breckec can heal as well. You're the only one who can't heal themselves. Why don't you take a few extra? And I'll give you, I guess like 3 normal and 3 superior.
Okay.
If you want to do that, and I'll get rid of these in a minute.
My forge is broken.
How so?
I can't do anything. I'm reloading.
How many I've got from this bit?
You gave me
Okay.
3 normal ones and 3 superior, yeah?
Yes. I'll take 3 and 3 off mine.
I have more ideas, but I think I know I tend to be impulsive, so I'll what do you two think? I have the ability to slightly shake the ground, maybe to imitate footprints. The thing that reached for me seemed to respond to my splashing in the water. A successful experiment, I think. You're welcome. Possibly shaking the ground further from us maybe would also help create a clear path.
As I said, I can make water. I can make ice out of water.
You start to notice that there's kind of like a radiating flicker coming from the 4 closest torches.
A radiating flicker. You can make that much ice, and I gesture all the way as far as we can see.
Well, I can make it more than once.
I haven't spent a lot of time with ice. That could be fun.
I can get us across here. Well, to here, but we can jump in plus 5 feet.
Can we?
Be fine.
It would be fine. I foresee nothing could possibly go wrong.
Maybe we will wait. Originally, you got caught, but I'm pretty sure Charity, you walked through fine.
Yeah.
Maybe if we just walk through carefully and quietly.
No splashing.
No splashing. Don't make any ripples. Just maybe you go on one of our shoulders.
Dignified.
Or drown.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Up to you.
No, I'll climb on your shoulders if you think you can handle me.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Sure.
You look sturdy. Especially with that belt.
You're a lot stronger now. How do I tune this, by the way?
There's the sun next to the weight.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, wait, hang on.
I can't do anything with it. I've equipped it.
Wrong.
That's it.
Inventory.
While you're at it,
Yes.
can you give me my potions back?
There's a way to do it. I can't remember what it is. Give you. Oh, I have to do it, do I? I
Yeah.
see.
3 normal ones and 3 superior ones.
I've removed the other ones from mine already.
There we go. I tuned it for you.
Thank you.
You have to go into the edit item thing, and when it says attunement, you have to do attuned. Although it's still saying your strength's 18.
It's Constitution it raises.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Should be 16 now. Yeah, there we go.
So I also, before we cross the water, partially because I just want to see how this is going to work, I have my documancy satchel provided by the partners,
Mm-hmm.
and I write a quick note, just swamp has some form of illusory magical torches lighting the way, only visible when close, heading deeper in, and I put that in the satchel to send.
Okay. You feel your satchel kind of rumble a little bit, and then it's gone. You've used it before, you know how it works.
I was gonna say, and that's the usual effect.
Yeah. Like, the spell being cast is a very... and then it goes.
Okay.
Within a minute, 90 seconds, you get a reply. Stay safe.
Okay.
Caution.
Okay. And then if we're are we doing the ice plan, or what is our approach? I'm still wary of these lights I seem to have awakened.
Hmm? Oh, you're healing. Okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I could have healed you if you needed a little bit of healing. But
That's why I asked for a healing potion.
I thought you just wanted to carry some. I mean, you got 2 healers here.
Imagine not being a healer. Like, imagine not being able to heal yourself with magic. Like, you even what even is the point of you being around? Jeez.
Wait, did you get 2 1s on those D4s?
Yep. Still 6 points up.
Okay, so shall we... How far can you do your magical ice?
30 feet. 30 by 30 feet. So I can make it from here to here, and we can cross easily.
Yeah, when we first crossed, we were able to get a bit in, like a step in before it got too deep. So if we plan on a short hop.
Yeah. How many times can you do this?
6 times. If I need to 6 times, I would prefer not to do it 6 times because it always takes a little bit of energy out of me.
Well, how about we do this one here, and then it's quite a small gap on the other bit. We have a bit of a run up. Maybe we could just jump the last one.
Yeah.
The second one.
Yes,
Okay.
I love jumping over water. It is a favored pastime.
You'll be fine.
I'll throw you. Do you want me to throw you?
Nobody tosses a Sprifneblin.
I might
Okay.
just do it.
I use a key point to use Shape of the Flowing River, and I turn this area to ice.
Okay. Question of logistics. How doth one intend to turn solid ground to ice?
Well, oh fuck, do I need to do it twice then?
You just need to do it to water. So
Well-
why not do it like here instead, where there's actual water instead of?
Okay, yeah, that works for them. Let's do it here. Let's do that then.
Okay. Good job. Good job for remembering you had a monk ability. That's right. I'm bringing it up. So
Just so we don't stress the ice. We go across individually.
Yeah.
Sounds
I can
Sounds
make
like
the
a
ice
plan.
as thick as I want to, so the ice can be easily 10 centimeters thick or feet thick or something.
Yeah, I worry that I might slip off the side. I've only had experience with ice one other time, and
it wasn't a nice experience.
no. Uh, I mostly remember learning that not only is it cold, but quite hard, as opposed to the more liquid forms of water. But I'll gladly go first.
Oh.
Please fish me out of the water if I do fall in again.
Sure.
And
Just walk slowly, you'll be fine.
yeah, so I make my way.
Okay. Starting off cautiously and slowly. Like your tentative first steps. But eventually you manage to kind of get your balance and find a rhythm, and you make it across.
I mean, I guess I could have made it even wider to make it a little bit easier. So if you fall and slip, it's fine and you don't fall into the water. But what's the fun of that, right?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, I go next.
I can see Bureau's like, I don't really want to go next.
I'm a cat.
Okay. Temerity, a bit more difficult. You've got a higher center of gravity, so the chance of slipping and falling is still fairly high, but
I'm barefoot too.
you're also barefoot. It's very cold. And at one point your foot does sort of stick to the ice, but you manage to peel it off without taking any skin. But you're okay. You're across.
As I see that they are making it fine, I turn and I once again use thaumaturgy on this torch that it has not brightened, and I attempt to dim that torch.
Okay. So this torch here next to you.
Yeah, the one. Yep.
As you thaumaturgy this torch, there's just an almost instant from the torch, which would be represented visually if the thing would play ball. There we go. Sort of. And basically continuously from there, it's just and nothing else happens.
Huh. The others didn't do that.
No, they didn't.
Couldn't wait to mess around until I'm across, could you?
Well, I mean, if you push a button once and it turns a light on, you might as well push a second button.
You make it across.
Okay,
Side
yeah.
You're okay. Your claws from your feet dig into the ice and give you enough purchase so that your feet don't slip. Roll a perception check for me. Now that you've made it here. All of you, sorry.
Oh.
Okay, well I'm glad one of you's on the ball. Breckec. Being one of the deep gnomes of Earth Neblin, your first instinct is to look at the stone boulders. There's something off about it.
I do say out loud, there's something strange with this boulder now that I'm closer. What do I have? I have my mace, but I don't want that. I thought I had some basic... In the starter gear, I thought I had some sort of tool, but okay, I'll use my mace and just tap it.
Okay. You just dunk on the stone.
Yeah.
And to anybody else, it would sound like steel on stone. But to you, and your kind of finer tuning on this kind of thing, it seems a bit off. A bit duller, maybe?
So, I have had some experience with giant crab-like creatures and things, and after killing them, had made note of in my journal the sort of thud but squish sound that their shells would make.
Mm-hmm.
Is this reminiscent of that? Or does it remind me of anything else I've ever encountered?
It doesn't feel like a carapace of any form. From any form of crustacean. Which does, in a way, cause you some crustacean frustration. But it's difficult. It's difficult without being able to sit down and like properly think about it and kind of go back through notes you've written down previously, like of what difference this has. Like it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like ore or anything like that. It just...
Okay.
What you found?
There's something with this stone. I can't describe it. It's no normal stone.
Could it be like a door or something? Or could it be like a secret entrance or somewhere? Or could it be, what do you mean, like it's...
It could...
Different?
There's just something, it's not... You know how when you use your mace and hit a stone, it makes that ping sound? This was more of a kung. And... I'm not sure. I guess a stone this size would be quite heavy. Can I do a full circle of the stone, checking for other irregularities, kind of hand on it?
Do it like... You can go for a proper investigation check if you want.
Looking for one, if it were some sort of gateway, whether illusory or otherwise, but also looking for a handhold, if it were maybe not as heavy as a stone this size would be.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh no!
5.
Rando, we need to talk.
So, okay. Well...
Trap his hand on the
Your mind is preoccupied by the rock that isn't a rock. And despite your vast knowledge, your vast wisdom and experience with all things, you can't focus on what you're looking for because you don't know what you're looking at.
Well, I could spend probably a week studying this, so maybe we should move on. I'll take note of it, and someday I'll come back and look at this stone again. I'm sure.
perplexes me just a bit.
I
They're
punch
very
the stone.
interested. Like I push it. Oh.
I punch the stone.
Okay. Make an attack roll. You center mass the stone, like the rock. You pull back and you like make perfect contact with it. You tense your fist just at the right moment. You keep your thumb out of the way to not break it, and while what you make contact with feels like stone to you, being you, it doesn't like break or shatter like you would expect it to with such a chunky hit. It just seems to give slightly.
Give slightly as in move slightly?
As in,
Oh, okay. This is a very squishy stone, guys.
Yeah, that's. It should go pating, but it would. Tongue. What?
We
I
gonna try
don't
to move
know.
it or something?
You can
It
try
wasn't
push
that it. Was it that it shifted, or it just didn't? It felt a little soft.
when you poke something and there's the like indent from where you're poking, that's the kind of thing it did. It wasn't perceivable to the two of you, just to Merity, but you felt like she felt it, and that
Did it leave an indent of my fist?
No.
Okay.
It returned to normal.
I'm gonna try to lift it or flip it or push it or just some kind of movement.
Just stab it in anyway. I help. I want to help.
Okay.
I mean, I'll get in there too if we're doing a. I'm in for a good old fashioned rock push.
Are the three of you going to go together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have all of you make strength checks, but with advantage because you're all pushing together. Well, I do see another one in there.
I did see Breckec with another one.
The three of you combined, like, sort of pushing the same direction and getting all of your might behind it. Nothing. Doesn't budge.
What sort of rock would be squishy?
You do feel.
I don't know.
You do feel, the little bit of give in the surface of the rock as you're all pressing it.
Can we cut it? Should we try to cut it into it?
You have an axe, try it.
So I've already one theory. I think Temerity ruled out that this is some sort of beast that is dug in.
It would have probably fall back by now, yeah.
I feel like that hit sounded solid, unless you killed it in one go, in which case
wouldn't be the
problem
first time.
solved.
I'll swing down my axe.
Okay. Make an attack roll for me.
First of all, I'm going to go around this side and then swing down my axe. Just because it bounces off,
Of course.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
Out of character, how do you roll a 20? Like,
Yeah, well, we'll
where do you
teach
learn
Rando.
that?
We'll teach you. No worries.
How does
Got
one
4
roll?
20s and 5 1s.
How does one roll well? You take a step away from your friends. The previous experiences, you take your axe and you swing down, and instead of the expected like as you glance off and probably shatter your axe. Just straight in, and your axe is now embedded in the stone.
I immediately go over to look and see if I can see anything on the inside where the stone, where the axe cut through.
Sarador,
Mm-hmm.
roll damage for me.
Oh.
Okay. As your axe impacts into the rock, you kind of expecting it to glance off and fall to the side, it just lodges in and won't come out. And as you're pulling your axe away, there's a slight rumble, and you all feel the ground shake beneath you. The water ripples. The ground starts to kind of crack, and like literally cracks appear in the ground, and then sort of fall in on each other because it's all so wet. And then the river starts to gush in and fill in the gap. And I need all of you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, good.
Breckec, despite your lower center of gravity and your somewhat more favorable position, you are knocked prone and also knocked into the water. Temerity and Sarador, you manage to just about dart out of the way as the ground starts shaking and escape. Just as you all start to feel the ground break and break and break and break and break, and the rock that you've just embedded your axe into, make a strength check as you ran away for me. Sarador, sorry. Okay, you managed to yank your axe out, and as you do, you're looking back as you run away, you see what looks to be like the rock that was flat has now parted, and you can see like rotted flesh left behind. And as the ground cracks open more, a creature sits up.
Oh no.
He's a big boy.
And from sitting up, you've got 7.5 feet of torso. And underneath, from where your axe impacted, a leg appears. And the foot that you've just embedded your axe in comes loose. And to the right of it, on this side of the embedded, another foot appears, and so does a leg. A 14-foot stone giant, undead stone giant, sits before you. And we're going to pick up next week.
Eyes on the prize. We're totally.
No, we're not.
Well, on the plus side, we don't have to worry about hiding that we're here anymore. They're gonna know.
Yeah, probably.
Good job, guys.
Hey, we didn't die. We didn't die yet.
Yeah. That probably would have come out even if we didn't hit this thing, so don't worry about it.
That was my worry when we first went out to the island, was like, now something happens and you're stranded out here.
Well, that was a good first session of a campaign. And I think we can all agree a good way to end the first session of a campaign, don't you think? I'm impressed that you managed to avoid the fight with all of the things under the water.
For now.
I'm 100% not sorry about the stone giant.
I'm excited.
I couldn't not take your bait of the stone is not.
Right? Right.
Well, I thought it was a door or something. So.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
Or an illusion of some sort.
I've already done 26 damage to it. Oh, fine. Not about it.
How did I not do any damage to it? Although I hit it quite hard with my fist.
If you didn't break through the protect, I don't know.
I was gonna say, yeah, is the stone actually part of its body, or that was just on top and you penetrated deep enough to... Well, no, that's probably why it was squishy.
Okay, well, thanks for playing, guys. We'll see you next week for part 2. This episode will go up on YouTube at some point. Haven't quite worked out when yet. Don't forget Tuesday, Scales of Destiny. That's still a thing. Then, yeah, we'll see what happens to these 3 who have picked a fight with this undead stone giant. I'm excited. I am sure that Yathina's found us a raid to go and investigate. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week for episode 2 of Ancient Unknowns. And everyone's so quiet.
Oh, see you later.
Right.
Hey.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye.
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 Well, it could have been worse.
That wasn't too bad. I think it'll be fine. It's undead stone, but still undead. Surely radiant damage will do more damage. We're fine.
Yeah, what? But I didn't do any damage with my like nat 20 signature attack. That's gonna be fucking.
Are they
awful.
magical? Your fists count as magical yet?
They do actually. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
That's at level 6, I think.
It is at level 6. Yeah.
So maybe I should have gone with my initial, but I was like, I don't want to waste a 3rd level spell slot on something that's not the main purpose. I have meld into stone, which allows me to just blend into the stone, and they would be like, it didn't work. Like, although I guess maybe then we'd have still attacked it. So.
Well, I'm guessing the outside shell over the leg was probably like some undead husk or some, I don't know, just a combination of nasty
Crud
Yeah.
that built up.
Yeah. So you probably just punched like thick dirt corpse pile. But my axe must have gone through, I guess.
Well, I'm not going
And my little mace tickle wasn't enough.
I'm not going to explain it, but just understand that there is a reason.
Yeah, no, I know there's a reason.
And
it's not.
Next week, you're just going to have to roll more nat 20s to get
Well,
through this.
we've been doing fine.
Well, 2 of you, 2/3 of the group have been fine, yeah.
Look, I learned the first half. Natural. I'm still working on that. Set numbers were never my strong suit.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
we can roll with the new 1D&D Unearthed Arcana rules where the DM doesn't get to crit if you want.
I know,
but,
right?
No, yeah, they in the new Unearthed Arcana, they've made it so that crits will give you crits for players, but only from weapon attacks. So weapon attacks and unarmed strikes. So spells no longer crit. I mean, it's playtest, so it's not set in stone. But then they've made it so that things like breath weapons and recharged attacks are essentially the DM's crit.
So something like Eldritch Blast or something cannot crit anymore, even if you roll it.
Eldritch Blast isn't going to be. Mark my words. Eldritch Blast is not going to be a spell in 2024. It's going to be a feature, so only warlocks will get it.
Yeah,
Because-
that the 3 schools of magic that change is interesting.
Yeah, I'm just
Especially
thinking
for
of attack
bards.
spells though. Like there's not a lot of them, but there's some attack spells.
There's like 30.
Yeah.
Things like Firebolt, as an easy example.
Yeah.
That won't be able to crit anymore. but Eldritch Blast is like the cornerstone of the Warlock, and it, like a lot of the Warlock's features are based around Eldritch Blast, so they're gonna make it a feature, not a spell, so that you kind of always have it even if you don't want it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first session. I'm impressed that I made it through. I'm so tired. We did like 3.5 hours. That was good. And
Yeah, it was good.
despite me preempting the session, saying it's going to be like a fairly linear session, you managed to unlinearize it. So good job on that one.
I was so confused. I legit was confused because I was looking for the linearity in between. Because I was like, well, I could do so much stuff now, and I'm not sure if Meglo has accounted for that. But like, then in the beginning, you immediately gave us several choices of how to approach that, and I was like, wait, how are we gonna do that?
The thought that I kept coming back to was you had said in session 0, basically the center of the city would probably be pretty deadly, and we wouldn't want to just delve straight in. We could, but we might need some preparation first.
Well, because it's a shorter campaign, it's not going to take quite so long to level up. So, quite feasibly, by the end of session 2, you could be level 7. So we'll see. I mean,
if we live.
If you live. I mean, it's only one stone giant. I mean, you'll be fine.
I'm not worried.
No,
Who's worried?
I'm not worried.
Bruce is just like, nah, we got this easy.
Yeah, I'll be searing smite, swoosh, and then be like, oh, I crit. Oh, well, it was a divine smite.
What's your subclass?
Well, I'm over devotion.
Oh, another thing in 1D&D is that crits only give double damage from weapon damage now. So smites and sneak attacks won't give double damage anymore if they keep it the way it is, which is sad because my first ever kill in D&D was my first ever attack in D&D, and it was a crit double damage sneak attack, and I just sort of I killed an ogre by myself at level 3. I was quite impressed. I did like 36 damage, it was amazing. 37 damage. But yeah, I am going to have some food and go to bed.
Sounds good.
Curious and Yathina, I'll see you for D&D tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
What time are we recording?
It'll be around the same time, if that's alright. It doesn't matter if it's later, it's purely at your convenience more than... it also depends on how I feel. Because finding maps for Stride has been an absolute pain. So actually, getting them in the game has been a bit of a nightmare.
There's a weekend coming up. I might struggle. Be like the 17th of September.
Yeah, see, well, now I forgot that that's my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So we're probably not going to be streaming on that date anyway.
Cool. I'm going to someone's 30th.
It's my 30th too.
Awesome, Meglo's 30th.
I didn't realise you were coming to my birthday party, Boreas, but it's nice of you.
I am.
It's nice of you to invite yourself.
Apparently, you're also my cousin's boyfriend as well.
I mean, it's news to me, but hey. But yeah, so the 17th is going to be a day off anyway, so don't worry.
Okay. My parents coming down for that as well, so I think on the Sunday I'm probably going to be seeing them, so I might not be able to record if we do recording on Sunday.
No, it's fine, don't worry. We'll have a weekend off.
It's not that weekend,
isn't it? It's not going to be a problem. Like, recording is deliberately, flexible.
It doesn't always have to be a Sunday anyway.
Yeah, it's if we can get usurping and keyline free, we can do it during the week as well. But their schedules are a bit more difficult because they live in the wrong country. Countries, yeah, it's true.
September 17th.
Yes.
That flight's gonna be expensive, so I've got to miss your birthday party. I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm so disappointed.
I haven't even got an invitation yet.
It's all right. We weren't getting one.
Wow.
But yeah, thanks for playing, guys. That was a good session.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's quite fun playing with just 3 people. I thought it was going to be a bit more awkward, but you played well.
It feels terrifying that we aren't prepared for encounters, maybe, but it moves fast. I'm used to four or five in a party.
Yeah. Losing that extra person does lead to a more decisive decision making.
Like,
I am-
we all
Go
of a
ahead.
sudden we're already like angry. Like me and Yathina's characters already like at each other's throats a little bit.
Like from my character's perspective, it's literally banter, because she sort of recruited you to the silent partners, and she's just giving you shit, but she's not doing it to, like, if your character perceives it as her being mean to you and stuff, that's totally fine, but she's not doing it to be that. She's just
Okay, I'm taking the jealousy that I was
I was
probably
going to say,
better athlete.
I think of it as you're just jealous that he's a superior athlete, that he always came
Nah.
first and you were always second. But
Nah, I feel like we would have probably been very much competitors. But I feel like I wouldn't have been that much of a runner. I'm more of a, sort of, I forgot the English word for it.
Gymnast?
No.
Not acrobat.
Failure?
No. Fuck you.
What's your dexterity though? Mine's like 14. Yours must be more.
20.
Yeah, so you must be more like
Yeah, I'm more like, what is it called when you do like jumping and that sort of shit?
tumbler.
Parkour?
What's the word for it? My
Acrobatics.
God.
Just a
Jumping.
high jumper.
Hurdles?
No, there's like all the things together. There's a word for it.
Gymnast, yeah. Like,
A heptathlete.
Is
An athlete.
Gymnastics,
yeah,
like vaulting.
athlete. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think the
athlete,
word you're
I guess.
looking for is athlete, Yathina.
Okay, I guess. Athlete is like literally the word athlete means something different in German than what I mean. But when I look up the German word, it gives me athletics. So
Like athletics is the broad term for everything.
yeah,
Maybe-
that's what I mean. She would
maybe-
have competed in the several sports.
You're
Maybe track and field in general.
Yeah, maybe.
you might have beaten me in some running races, maybe. But
you're a
No,
you're
I
a
don't
strict
think so.
ones.
A triathlete.
Yeah, athlete, but she's doing all of that. She's doing sort of, she has a spear. That's why I gave her a spear as well, because she's doing the throwing and all that shit.
Or yeah, doesn't decathlon include like javelin and
Yeah,
all of that? Yeah.
Discus probably as well.
You're
Well,
an
I am glad I did not commit to Baris's idea of, I think it was yours, of 1 bean per nat 1, because I'd probably be feeling pretty sick right about now.
You know what you probably should have done actually? That's disappointing. Yeah.
I think it would have
But
been
I'm about to do one as well.
would have been quite funny.
That I've always had bad luck rolling, but that I think is a new level. So hopefully that's all out of my system.
It's okay. You're the Will Wheaton of Explore the Beyond. It's fine.
Right.
Can't believe it. So you had 3 of ours as well, didn't you? I think I had 1.
I didn't have any. I had 2 nat 20s.
No, wait. We had 5 nat 1s.
I didn't have one.
3 of which
I think
were...
I had.
No, you must have had 4.
I think I had 4.
You had 4 because 1 didn't count because it was advantage. So
No, I marked down 4 natural, like ones that went through.
I think he had 4.
5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He started out with 2, and then he had 1 later again, and then he had another one a little bit later.
So you had the investigation check. That was on the rock, which is where you would have probably learned that it wasn't a rock. Burius had the
That's
one.
2 rolls.
That
Oh,
was,
you're going for the thing, are you?
Yeah, Burius had the nat 1 on the attack roll.
Yep.
Then you also had the con saving throw, which is
Oh, I had 2 then. So you had, I had 2, you had 3.
because
you
you
had the
you
first
took the
2 as
damage
well.
from your divine sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Then
then
there
I
was-
had the survival and the intelligence.
Yes. First roll of the first 2 rolls of the campaign, dude.
Oh, yep.
Cursed.
Got to get off on the wrong foot.
Right. Well.
Oh yeah, you go sleep.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with that. I just started preparing to restart my in-person Strahd, so
Nice.
looking
Amazing.
forward to seeing yours.
You should
Nice.
use the map making thing we looked at the other day, and then just use a screen so that you can have like minis on a screen, and then you don't have to worry about battle maps in person. You can use the.
I should try that because I've just done Theater of the Mind, and it does add a lot, especially in the horror environment, to have the tactical dread added in.
When you can see how far the enemy can go.
Right.
Anyway.
When you see the stone giant emerge from the ground.
Yeah.
Make sure before you go to sleep to message Key Lime and Yusabin quickly, just to remind them that it's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Or shall I do that for you?
You do that.
Okay.
You do that.
6:30 is your time, you said?
Roughly, yeah.
Alrighty.
It'll be a sort of. It'll be a close to 6:30. We'll get started eventually.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So yeah. Good night, guys. Thanks for playing.
Have a good
Night.
one.
See you
See ya.
later.
Bye.
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 Bye.